Welcome to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We're here tonight with the RSR Cup Series as they hit the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Little Indy 100 here. As we have 3 races, including tonight, before we head off into their playoffs here for the 2021 season here for the RSR Cup Series. But tonight it all heats up as these drivers try to build more momentum heading into the playoffs. We need to build some momentum. So let's talk about our partners here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting and the Evolution Racing Leagues here, as we got some proud partners here, of course. First, we want to give a shout out to OR Nissan Central, the leading Nissan dealership in Oklahoma City. You can go check out their website at www.ornissancentral.com. Next, we have Sheffield Graphics. They're the leading designer in sim racing paint schemes and liveries. It was founded by a Navy veteran, and a portion of every paint goes to the Military Foundation Folds of Honor. It's a great nonprofit organization who gives sponsorship to the families of fallen soldiers and disabled veterans. Make sure to go check them out on Facebook under Sheffield Graphics and tell them Freaky Fast sent you. Next, we have ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Every game deserves a truly immersive experience. The ButtKicker Gamer 2 lets you feel every detail, from the subtle footsteps to the rumble of a V10-powered race car, from the ambient environmental effects to the power of a nearby explosion. By moving a physical mass instead of only air, the Gamer 2 provides instant, accurate, powerful base response, and it's all perfectly synced with every game with no additional software required. So make sure you go to ButtKicker.com to check out their ButtKicker Gamer 2 and other products, and you can feel what you've been missing. You can also use Freaky Fast 20 to get 20% off of any purchase there at ButtKicker.com. Remember, that's Freaky Fast 20 and Freaky with 2 E's, so don't misspell that there, so you can get your 20% off and let them know that we sent you there. But thank you to the proud partners here. I'm Zach Hall up in the booth. Joining alongside me will be Brandon Colley calling the action, and we'll have Robert Moore Jr. running the cameras in the background here as he is in the production box. Brandon, what a night we have here ahead of us as we got the Little Indy 100 here, the RSR Cup Series. 100 laps and some tough competitors out on this racetrack. It's going to be a fight down to the end. Right now, practice hitting the end as we head off into our 5-minute qualifying session, man. What do we have in store for us tonight?
Well, I think, Zach, definitely we're going to see a single file just like we saw in the ARC race just a little while ago, but by no means is spread out. Generally, the field gets pretty bunched up here. Still single file, like I said, but the draft is so key here. You can just stay towed along by the guys ahead of you for such a long time and keep the pack really close, but also at that same point, you've got to make sure that the pack that you're with does not lose get checked up too much and lose the draft of a pack ahead. If you get separated, the field gets separated into smaller groups of cars, you're going to have a hard time catching up and breaking away from the pack you're in and making up that ground to the pack ahead of you, because you're just not going to have that draft here. And to that point, track position going to be absolutely key. Because of that, if you get mired in the back, the likelihood of that happening to you is going to increase significantly.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Brandon, with the draft and the dirty air, how you're playing a factor of these packs breaking away like that. I think that's going to be the most important part for these drivers is qualifying right now. Like you said, track position, track position, track position. Yeah, you'll want to be in draft, but if you want to be in that lead pack of that draft, you're going to have to qualify good here. So let's see who can win that Sheffield Graphics Pole Award here tonight, the RSR Cup Series. But man, right now, this is the best time of the season to build the momentum. You know, we got right now left on our schedule Indy tonight. Next week, we're going to head off to the Michigan International Speedway. Then the last race of the regular season, we'll go to the Texas Motor Speedway. We got 3 races for these drivers to get themselves possibly in a playoff spot, or for the drivers that are locked in to let themselves, get some momentum build up and have a good run starting into that playoff round number 1.
And 3 weeks left, but also 3 really distinct tracks that we're going to here, all completely unique from one another. Especially thinking about Texas, the last race, that cutoff race with the new layout that they have in Texas, really kind of changes up the dynamic of the race there. Going to be interesting to see, and really how you have to run Michigan as well. It's just especially these Cup cars. Going to have to keep the momentum up, and also just that track position again going to be absolutely crucial. So these guys are going to have to nail qualifying. If you're struggling with qualifying, you really got to get it nailed down these last 3 weeks here. Getting a good starting position for any of these races is going to be key to getting that good finish, getting the max points that you can And if you're one of those guys in the bubble, that's exactly what you need. Maximize your points just to try to maybe squeak in at the very end. Maybe it comes down to 1 or 2 points the last race in Texas. You don't want it to come to that. Put yourself at risk with the whole season kind of going down the drain right there at the end. Like you said, guys are already kind of locked in. Just looking for that confidence, that momentum to go into the playoffs, starting out strong and come away with some good results right off the rip there. And talk about racing, man. Confidence and momentum is absolutely everything.
Yeah, momentum and confidence. I don't think you could ask for two better things to have when it comes to racing there, Brandon. Right now, the man beat so far in qualifying is that 14 of GT Irizarry. After a tough week last week, finishing in the top 3 after a surgery, not almost less than 2 weeks ago for this man, and he is right now looking to back up that win he had at Pocono. Remember, that's the thing. He won at Pocono. We've seen success at Pocono. The Arkansas Series carry over here to Indy. Do you think we could see that tonight with that 14 as he's still holding on to that top spot as we see Curtis Preston pop up the fourth there?
I think it's pretty likely. Talk about a guy with some confidence and momentum. GT finally getting that points paying win at Pocono and then coming out, like we talked about last week after that surgery, toughing it out at a really rough track at Milwaukee and really battling and contending for the win all the way up until the end there. Again, just stacking on to the consistency that he's shown all season, as well as the momentum that he's carried from his Pocono win, coming into Indy now, sitting on top of the board at the moment. The guys that have put down qualifying times, not sure any of these guys are really going to be able to top his time. Looks like we've got a handful of guys still working on their qualifying laps here, but I think that should about lock it in for GT unless somebody pulls out just an absolute burner.
Yeah, it looks like Andrew Little out here on the track right now in the 68. Which he looks like he'll slot in the 7th on his first lap, so see if he can do any better on that second lap. Looks like right here we're looking at the 68, I believe. Oh, the 98. Sorry about that. The number with Kevin down there. Yeah, read the numbers backwards on top of the roof sometimes for myself. So got that a little bit backwards there. But Tony or Kevin down there coming off of 4. I believe this will be his first qualifying lap, but does not have enough time as the clock hits 0. GT Arizar is going to be our Sheffield Graphics pole winner and almost by a full 10th of a second, man. What a lap for him in that 14. But we'll go ahead and bring up our starting grid here tonight for the RSR Cup Series. GT Arizar going to bring home the Sheffield Graphics Pole Award. Second's going to go to Trevor Massetti in the 88. Third is going to be Hunter Hayward in the 48 machine. Fourth's going to be Curtis Preston at 29. Fifth's going to be Nolan Potter. Sixth's going to be Adam Buzzio. Seventh place going to go to the 68 Andrew Little. Eighth's going to be Matthew Rush. Ninth's going to be Zach Schrittenthal. And 10th, rounding out your top 10, is Ryan Bean.
11th is going to be Harold Watkins, Bob Fitzpatrick in 12th, Casey Kuntz 13th position, Travis Everett in the 14th position, Dustin Stallings 15th, Brock Potter 16th, J.R. Miller 17th, Kevin Zabladil in the 17th and 18th, Jeff Carson in 19th position, and Chad Biesinger rounding out your top 20.
21st going to go to the 78 of Kevin Sabilla. 22nd will be Michael Martino. 23rd, Anthony Yunez. 24th is going to be James Cotrone. 25th is going to be Rusty Modesty. 26th, Stephen Baldwin. 27th, Marc-Andre Thibodeau. 28th is going to be Nathan Campbell. 29th, Kevin Ruff. 30th is going to be Kevin Dow. 31st will be Tony Ludy. 32nd, David Hall. And rounding out your field, the 33rd position will be Hale Rothery in that 33. As that's your starting lineup here tonight for the RSR Cup Series. Let's go ahead and bring up our man from Slide Job Racing himself, GT Irizarry, and hear what he has to say after sitting on that Sheffield Graphics pole.
And GT, Brandon up in the booth, you got a copy.
What's happening, man?
Well, first and foremost, congratulations on getting this Sheffield Graphics Pole Award here at Indy. My first question I've got to ask you, man, is how you feeling this week?
I feel like a new person, bro. I mean, it's amazing how much better you get day by day, man. I mean, I appreciate you asking, but I feel good. I mean, I'm not out running around, but I actually did take my car out for a little cruise today, even though the doctor said not to. I did it anyway, but yeah, good.
Yeah, well, glad to hear you're feeling better, bud, and it's showing. Continuing to add on to that consistency here and building that momentum as the playoffs are getting ever closer. Got the win at Pocono 2 weeks ago. Battled for the win last week in Milwaukee. Now getting the pole award here at Indy. How comfortable are you feeling? What do you think your pace is like? And, what have maybe some of these guys out here have for you?
Well, I mean, we're feeling good about everything. I mean, I like Indy. Indy's one of those just fun tracks. I mean, I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of passing. It's going to be, whoever can catch the clean air is going to be. I think it's going to have the advantage there. But then again, when we've got some aggressive guys back there behind us, that we just got to make sure that we make the right moves to not end up being turned into the fence is going to be very important here. You definitely got to stay away from that guy, but. I want to go ahead and dedicate the poll. Obviously, the Mustang Week. Thank them for coming on board, but also ask for a prayer for our boy Ryan. Ryan's going through a lot right now with Creed. He needs God's healing right now, so I will go ahead and dedicate the poll award to him for that, man.
Well, I know Ryan Azell, that's going to mean a whole lot to him. I know how highly he thinks of all you guys, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are out there riding around thinking about Ryan and his family today, and hopefully we get a good race put on for those guys, and hopefully a speedy recovery for his son. But man, let you get back down there and get ready to take the green, and wish you the best of luck. Hopefully talk to you at some point during this race, man.
10-4, guys, I appreciate it. And just a little info, I mean, I don't know if you can make it a full 25 on fuel here, so just kind of keep that at the top of your heads.
Thank you, bud. Good luck.
Hey, what a guy there, and we got to echo those statements he said. All thoughts to the Zell family, and we wish nothing but the best for them, and they're definitely their time right now. So looks like we're about to go green flag here. Don't know if we'll be able to make it 25 laps with the great info that GT just gave us. Let's get this action going, ladies and gentlemen. The pace car is in. It's RSR Cup Series time here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Green flag is in the air, and we are off and away down the front straightaway. Great start up front here for the 14. Also great start for Trevor Mercedes. They head down the one. That inside lane going to be very strong here on these cold tires. Got to be careful, as you're going to see these guys side by side. Second place under attack now from the 48 of Hayward as they head through two. Looks like he'll clear for second as he'll slide up in the second. Looks like Mercedes back to third, Preston fourth, and the field from there stacked up with Nolan Potter leading that fifth position. But from there on back, it's too wide, man.
Yeah, talked about how strong the inside lane is going to be, but on the cold tires, it's really treacherous. Saw quite a few wiggles out of some guys there, stacking up the field behind him, about the sixth position now, still 2 by 2. Matthew Rush getting hung out now. Looks like Travis Everett going to be making his charge forward now, cracking himself into the top 10, just outside the top 10, looking to hunt down Bob Fitzpatrick now for that 10th spot. These guys finally getting sorted out, but the guys in the lead starting to Indy snake in here already coming to start lap 2.
Yeah, I think you heard GT talk about getting out front here, clean air, being very strong, not a lot of passes done. I think if you want to get your passing done here and go forward and be able to save your tires here in the middle part of this run, you're going to have to be able to get everything you can right here. So you're going to see a few guys definitely trying to get more. But up front, GT definitely trying to break that draft with the 48 at Hayward. I think Hayward may have a shot at him here down into 3. Looks like he will look to the inside. GT going to cover that off there. Good decision there by Hayward not to continue that move. That could have been a disaster here early in the going, and you heard it. I mean, GT said it's going to be tough here to hold off this lead, especially, the aggression level is going to be high here early on trying to get to this clean air. But for 25 laps here, these drivers got to think about fuel. If someone back here is able to save that and win the stage, they'll be well off.
I think that's got to be the game plan going into practice, trying to figure out exactly what a fuel run's going to be here and trying to size up exactly, how far possible you can make it. There's a lot of opportunity in Indy to save fuel. It is a long track, but also you've got the draft to play such a huge role here. Rely on the draft, really ease out of the throttle down the backstretch, not try to generate as big a run to try to make a pass as you normally would. Just hang out behind a guy and use that draft to save some fuel. Do that for a number of laps, and you may just be able to squeak out to the end of the stage and pick up some stage points or a stage win even if nobody else is able to capitalize on that type of strategy. But again, to GT's point, talking to him and saying, he's got some aggressive guys behind him. I have to imagine, I know myself, as soon as he said that, the number one name was going to be Hunter Hayward. We've seen so far throughout the season, he's definitely not afraid to throw the car into some spots to just try to make something happen. If he sees a hole, he's definitely going to be trying to put the car anywhere he can to make that pass. And again, the fresh air is going to be so key, and it's that risk of how much do I feel comfortable burning up the tires to try to get that fresh air at the early part of the run. versus how much do I think they're going to fall off just getting stuck in the dirty air as the run goes on. And you've also got to take into consideration there's still a lot of time left. You don't necessarily need to get the clean air now. Figure out what works, what doesn't, and put it to good use for later on in the race.
Brandon, you are a very wise man, let me tell you. Listening to your words, everybody here, you need to jot them down because he knows what he's talking about. Early in this run, though, man, lap 4 here, I talked to you a little bit about the Florida race. We discussed this. Before we get too far in this run, we start figuring out all this stuff. Who's the driver you're looking at tonight that could possibly have that run that you think could possibly bring it to victory lane?
Well, I've got to be thinking about the 59 of Travis Everett. Didn't have the best qualifying effort, but no, he's very strong here, and he's very good at saving his tires, and that's something that's absolutely key here at Indy. We talk about track position and all that, but at the end of the day, fresher tires and taking care of your tires is going to pay off tremendously if you can get good track position. So, barring that, if Travis Everett can get the good track position, he's the man to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Everett always great on the long runs there, Brandon, like you said there. Right now, running in 11th, so kind of out of position from his normal spot. He's normally a top 5 guy in qualifying and throughout the race, but would not be surprised to see him make his move up through this grid as the race continues on, because this track definitely comes down to wear. Now, I told you the guy I picked before the race, and that guy right now is sitting in 4th, kind of just lurking, in my opinion, in that 29. This is our past series champion, Curtis Preston. In my opinion, this guy is just wait till the playoffs come. It was something last year we noticed when the playoffs clicked on. This guy was lights out. I can't wait to see when that happens. But I tell you, one of the tracks that he was lights out at, it was this place. He was just so dominant here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And right now, kind of lurking in that 4th spot. Let's see if that 29 can get himself in position today to have a victory, because he's right on the edge of that battle for the regular season championship with his 2 teammates there, Travis Everett and GT. But he's going to need some good races if he wants to get past GT, especially with GT out here leading. Right now, though, it looks like he's taking over that 3rd spot from the 80 of Trevor Massetti. So good stuff from Curtis Preston here early on. See if he can get by Hunter Hayward and then maybe set sights on his teammate GT.
Well, Zach, looking at it, before that pass happened with Curtis Preston over Trevor Massetti, I was watching, and it looked like they were kind of content. The top 4 kind of content to just get out here and ride, and they pulled away a pretty decent gap, I believe, just maybe outside of the range that you're going to be able to pick up the draft for that of Nolan Potter. So they've kind of separated themselves to a point where they can ride around and not really feel threatened too much by anybody trying to make too many passes on them, and then just get comfortable in the car. And like you said, save your tires, take your time, be patient, and see how the race unfolds for you. Is the pace going to come to you? Learn from the guys around you. What are they doing a little bit different, and see where their pace goes as the run goes on compared to yours, and make those adjustments for later on in the race. And just take it as a learning opportunity. It's nice to go out and lead laps, and it'd be cool to go out and lead them all, but you absolutely don't need to. You only need to lead the one.
One lap is all you need here, especially at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You never know, so it might save that fuel, Brandon. We talked about it earlier. Fuel mileage playing a factor, and what we heard from GT doesn't know if we can make it 25 laps. That could very well play into a factor. And I tell you what, Preston closing in on the 48 of Hunter Hayward. Looks like he'll actually get to the inside here up front as we ride on board with Andrew Little in that 10th position. Looks like Hayward in the wall, actually, I think, on entry there, too. I think he might have got a little bit of the wall. He's going to slide back possibly to 4th here. Curtis Preston now up to 2nd. I'm telling you, GT, he talked about drivers behind him. The one driver I think he had in mind, though, after what he's seen last season is Curtis Preston, but also can't forget Trevor Massetti now sliding back into 3rd there past Hunter Hayward. Massetti not had a win yet this season. He has been so good this whole entire season. This right here personally, 4 of the best drivers here in the RSR Cup Series. It's stacked here in this series, man. I mean, you could look through the whole entire field.
We absolutely cannot forget. As I'm back here watching Andrew Little, now they're 3 wide going down the backstretch. Matthew Rush, Andrew Little, and Bob Fitzpatrick. Andrew Little decided no cattle want any part of that. But, talking about Trevor Massetti, he's been so consistent. Doesn't have that points paying win. Got the dual win to start the season at Daytona, but he was in the same shoes that GT was after GT had his All-Star win. Just cannot seem to put together that points paying victory, but he's been up there every single week. It's just not quite been there for him. But the more you finish, you're running up front, the win is going to come. You've just got to put it all together in the right circumstances, maybe get a little bit of luck to fall your way, and it will absolutely happen. And Trevor Massetti is just on the cusp of breaking through right now. But, you know, again, showing good pace today, just hanging out in the top 4. But we've got the field starting to spread out pretty good, but still back here with Jeff Carson and these guys. Casey Kuntz, they're battling it out. It's a big wad of cars.
Yeah, you got Kevin Sabilla here on the inside of Anthony Younes, as Anthony Younes will clear there. And that 54 there down to 3 and 4 behind. There you got Kevin Ruff and Nathan Campbell side by side with also Casey Kuntz and Jeff Carson up there side by side. So a lot of hard racing going back here in the 20s and the teens. Also looking at the lap time. Oh, it was it 78 gets that curve that we talked about. Now let's get James Patrone there, get to the inside, get the big run. But look at this, here comes Kevin Ruff with the stack up. Nathan Campbell also the 52. Big stack up here on the front straightaway. This could be major here. Is almost good 3 wide. The 52 backs out, and the 6 does also. Great driving from those drivers. It's close, almost contact between the 30 and 112 back here for the 22nd position. These guys are racing like it's for the win right now with 11 laps in. But this is what we love to see on Freaky Fast Broadcasting, bringing you the action live here at the RSR Cup.
Saw that there, the momentum getting checked up for everybody by the 78 catching the curve there. And unfortunately, you know, just because of how difficult it is to pass, especially with everybody single file line, you step out to try to make the pass down the backstretch, that draft just kind of negates your run a good bit. When you get that big of a run, you just kind of have to take it. You know, there's certain situations, especially early in the race like this, where you've got to, you know, roll out of it and think better of it, not going 3 wide to, you know, play it safe. But toward the end of the race, those guys that are not going to be lifting out of those runs, they're going to be taking those chances, using those runs, splitting the gaps, shooting 3 wide into the corner, and just hoping everybody keeps it together and doesn't wad it up before they make it out of the corner. And, you know, we definitely have not seen the last of that. And it looks like we're starting to see some guys meander down pit road already in this run.
Yeah, a few guys are electing that they are not going to make it to the end of this stage. It was like Jeff Carson, the 81's the first one to hit pit road. But I tell you what, Brandon, you may have made a very good call with your pick, because lighting up my timing and scoring right now is the 59 of Travis Everett. I mean, he was upwards of 5 seconds back from the lead. He's 3.5 back now. He just got clear of Zach Strittenthal to move himself up into 6th. And actually that time even passes Zach Strittenthal faster on our leader, GT Arizari. He could be up to Ryan Bean here in the next few laps. We could see a 6-car battle, because even Ryan Bean right now, he's really lighting the timing up. He was 0.3 faster than our leader. He was the fastest car on the racetrack that time by. So, man, the battle is not over yet. And if these guys got to hit pit road, it's going to get even crazier.
And it seems like Indy is one of those tracks where it does benefit you a good bit more to just lay off a little bit on the short run and take care of your stuff, because normally it seems like you lay off on the short run just to save your stuff, and the guys go out and burn up their tires. Oh, Ryan Bean into the wall hard there.
Oh, no.
Not what you want to have happen when you have such good pace. Got to keep the car intact and stay out of the fence. That's definitely going to cost him, especially during, you know, not even just the loss of momentum there, but any damage here. The straight line speed is absolutely crucial here at Indy.
I do not know how, Brandon, but he is somehow somewhat clean on the right front there. That is, the hood has a break in it. The hood is critical, but that splitter more critical, and that splitter completely fine. And you can see there, look at the hood flap with the damage on it. That's where most of the damage was. It was on mostly the back later half of that right front fender. It is going to have an effect, but way less of an effect than having some major early right front damage.
Yeah, that was extremely fortunate, just the way that he caught the wall there, not really slapping the back end, bringing the front around.
Oh, Massetti in the wall too, Brandon, right ahead of him. Same exact collision, and he was just really close to Hayward. There's back bumper, and it just got tight.
And I think that's, you know, something we didn't talk about with the ARCA race, Zach, is that even though the corners here at Indy, they look the exact same, they handle completely different, and it seems like they kind of handle different for every individual driver. Every driver is going to have a preference, a set of corners that they just seem to be a little bit better at. And it seems like for, you know, this particular race, turn 4 is going to be a little bit more on the snug side than I'm used to seeing. And added that with the dirty air from the back of Hunter Hayward, Trevor Massetti struggling with it. We saw Ryan Bean get tight out of turn 4 and catch the ball as well. Not going to be a very good place for a lot of these guys out here, especially guys that have pushed the tires a little bit, just cannot seem to get the rotation they need.
And Travis Everett breaks to the top 5 as he's by Ryan Bean out with that damage. So he should be able to get maybe Trevor Rossetti before us. The thing is, too, Brandon, we got a stage at lap 25 and lap 50. We only have 3 sets of tires in the pits. So right now, these drivers are going to have a lot of decision making to do. You're definitely not taking tires here.
Yeah, I mean, the fall off is pretty substantial already at this point in the race. We're 15 in the books here, but the fall off is about 2 seconds already. So, you know, anybody that does take tires here, and I've seen this, I've been in races where this has bitten me. Guys deciding to take tires at the early part of the race where you decide not to try to save it. They just seem to be able to pull out such a big gap, and, you know, you kind of rely on a caution to even it out and play more to your advantage. And if that doesn't happen, you're kind of on the back foot, but it's such a limited amount, and you know the longer second half of this race after the final stage. Man, you kind of want that last set. Ooh, Ryan Bean now making his way to pit road from 6th position there, able to get it woken down in time. So guys starting to trickle in now. A little bit more. Matthew Rush in as well. Going to be trying to get some type of advantage here. Maybe pitting just a little bit earlier, pulling off the tires just a little bit sooner. Maybe get a little bit more out of him before the end of the run.
Well, I can tell you one thing right now, Curtis Preston putting the pressure on his teammate. He gets to the inside down the back straightaway. He's going to look to pull that 14 back, gets a nice side draft on him actually down the back straightaway here. Pulls out in front now. Curtis Preston at 29, see if he can do anything. Put the dirty air on his teammate GT Irizarry there. Irizarry a good exit out of 3, just not able to get all the way to the back bumper there on the entry. And Preston now out front in that 29, past season champion, looking to get himself a win here in stage 1. But the thing is, too, Brandon, if I'm in the box calling this race right now, as you know, I'm not taking tires till lap 50.
Should not be able to go a lap down if you stay out on, or if you stay on the original set of tires. You're gonna give up stage points for sure to guys that decide to take it, but it's such a huge advantage to have that extra set at the end of the race.
Big run for Hayward.
You need them, and Hunter Hayward, he was falling off a little bit, but that draft able to pull up now, get even with GT, should be able to make the pass going into turn 3 here. GT gonna be rolling out of it, allowing that pass to happen, and then directly behind them, GT now gonna cross him over.
Great racing up front here, man. Sorry to keep interrupting you there, Brandon, because this racing is too good.
And these guys slicing and dicing up here, just trying to get as much track position as possible. And, you know, stage is winding down. If guys are going to decide to try to push it to the end here, they're, you know, battling for the top 3 positions in the stage right now. But I've been watching behind them. Curtis Preston is coming. He almost. He was half a tenth quicker than GT and 4/10 quicker than Hunter Hayward without the draft. So Travis Everett doing a tremendous job of saving his tires now to the 4th position, up 10 from the start of the race.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, Brandon. You may have called the right call, because this guy single-handedly has drove himself almost into their draft range now. If I'm sitting there, GT and Travis, I mean, you know, it's your teammate. I mean, or Curtis and GT. Sorry, you know, Travis, your teammate's looking pretty quick. I would be pretty worried about that teammate, because that guy is so strong on these long runs. Looking good for him, but man, Zach Schrittenthal here, he's having a great run. Started 9th up to the top 5 position. This is a driver last season where, you know, I kind of would expect this from him. But personally, this season, I don't think it's went in the way of Zach Schrittenthal. We just have not seen the flashes of speed, I feel like, that we had from him last season. And if he can get that rolling here late to the season, it could be really good for him.
And I know he's going to be looking for some pretty good results, especially last week not having the best week at Milwaukee, and also missed a couple races this week as well, so it's really hurt him as far as points go. Looking to start rebounding after he's been able to come back and make every race. Needing good points results, like we talked about, you know, Milwaukee not being the best one for him here, but it seems like Indy could be one of those good tracks for him, noting that he is up to the 5th position now. Looks like he's going to come in this time, as well as Curtis Preston and GT ahead of him, hitting pit road this time. Nolan Potter going to be following suit as well.
Yeah, man. If personally, if I'm these guys, I stretch the fuel as long as I can here to take the least amount of fuel because just to get that, I would take it for a stage victory. I understand that you could, top it off here and then, stay out during the stage 2 to gain track position. But if you're a guy looking for points, I'm staying out late as possible to take the least amount of fuel.
Absolutely, I think that's the right call. And we've got a few guys now cycling up to the top 10. James Gautreau, Nathan Campbell, Chad Biesinger, J.R. Miller, Andrew Little as well cycling up here. And it looks like, yeah, all of those guys still yet to make a pit stop, so they're looking to stretch it as far as possible here. Maybe catch a caution. It looks like Hunter Hayward going to come in this time. Travis Everett as well coming in. Andrew Little calling out that he's going to be coming in as well. So the front guys now starting to come in. We'll have to see anybody behind the top 3 if they're going to come in this time.
And man, Travis Everett got down to a 1.5 seconds behind for the lead. What a job for him as they enter now. But there you see Kevin Zabladil snaking his way down the back straightaway. Looks like Trevor Massetti there has got by him as Zabladil still out here. I think who's going to try to stretch it, Brandon? We're already having pit stops happen at 22. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, it looks like James Gautreau still out on the racetrack, one of the only cars to not pit here. And like I said, there's a lot of opportunity to save fuel, especially if you're a guy at the back of the pack. If you know, hey, I can't make it, if you start saving aggressive pretty early on, it could be all the difference in them handful of laps that you're able to save, especially, if you're coming right down to the end and you've got a big gap. You can run half throttle down the straights there, give up a lot of time just to make sure you're going to cross the line. The big worry then is, can you make it back around and get to pit road under caution?
Man, I'm looking at it here too, Brandon. Did Curtis Preston have a mistake? Because he came back down pit road in the 29.
I'll have to go back and look at it, but having to come back down pit road very well could have been a mistake on his part.
Yeah, I don't think he sped. I went back and looked at it while you were talking there, and I didn't see no speed from him. And also, it was a very short pit stop for him. I don't even know if he put enough fuel in the car personally. Maybe that was the issue. Maybe he just didn't have his fuel changed or something, because it seemed like he stopped in his box and went straight away as his teammate waited longer.
And that could have been the issue there, just a slight miscue, making sure that there was going to be fuel pumped into the car there. Looked like, yeah, just, stopped and then immediately away, just enough for the crewman to hop over and get a windshield tear off for the 29 there. Good news is, it's early in the race, it's not really going to hurt him, and he wasn't going to be getting any stage points anyway with this strategy here. But, well, now it looks like James Gautreau going to be coming down with the pits closed, so this may be a penalty for James Gautreau here, not able to stretch it as far as he would have liked to get to the end. Oh, it looks like he just made it in before pit lane was closed, so that was a lucky break for the 38 here.
Wow, that's actually going to play out pretty well for him. The biggest thing I'm worried about for these guys now is tires, Brandon, because we still have to get to lap 50 for that stage. And then, with 50 to go in the final stage, I mean, that sets up at least 2 green flag pit stops during that. So you're looking at, if you even took your tires at lap 50, you would still have those other 2 tires already accounted for with at least 2 green flag stops.
Yeah, and the good news then is the reason you play this strategy is because you're not guaranteed a caution at the last half of this race when you're going to have to make more pit stops. And if it goes green, anybody that took tires here, they're going to have to not take tires during one of those stops. You're going to give up so much time to everybody else, so much time. And it shows in the timing, but except for maybe Brock Potter has taken a set of tires this run. Everybody else had extended time just to get damage fixed.
Oh no, look at this 27 Ipitting. It's like some type of issue here for the 27. He was running right at the edge of the top 10 and 11th. Not sure. Looks like gas. I believe he may have tried to stay out the distance here.
He is absolutely out of gas, and that's the biggest thing. You do not want to run out, because that was the worst possible place. It might have been okay if he ran out in turn 3. He ran out going into turn 1. Not going to be able to make it around.
No, he will not. As the caution is thrown, as GT will win stage 1 after wild stuff here transpiring. Looks like Marc-Andre Thibodeau, the only driver trying to make it there on fuel, and he will not make it. Are we sure he's the only other driver?
I believe so. Looks like everyone else, maybe Kevin Zabladil. Kevin Zabladil has not.
I believe he did. Yeah, he didn't hit pit road either. I think he's out of fuel though right now. He's rolling around the track. He's definitely out of fuel in the 17, I think.
Oh yeah, he is definitely sputtering there. He might have to ask for a push from somebody.
Man, but the thing is here, he made 25 laps, Brandon. If he could do this, the thing is, we're not going to have a perfect 50 lap run to the Inks. We're going to get that stage caution at 50, so it's going to really split it into 45. That means someone's going to be able to one stop that in. It's going to happen. Somebody will pull the one stop off. Will the leaders pull it off? We don't know.
Well, I think, and that's the biggest thing, is if you can, I think that's the absolute strategy that you're going to want. The thing is that the fall off, you've got to hope that you're one of the guys at the front of the field to be able to pull off that strategy, because if you're too far back and giving up too much time to the leaders, they're going to be able to gain a whole lot more on you and probably be able to make that pass while you're trying to save. And now we see Dustin Stallings being the charitable one, trying to push Kevin Zabladil off the field here. Guys making the pass, definitely going to have admins clearing some cautions there. But Dustin Stallings being like, you know what, man, I'm going to help you out here. I'm going to be a bro.
Yeah, definitely going to help him out there get to pit road. And, man, what a stage victory for GT as he's able to win that. I do not. We'll see if they hit pit road here, everybody. We'll give them a chance to hit pit road as they're coming out of 4 here, and then we'll get a talk with him. But, man, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We got some people out there in chat and, chatting it away. And thank you for tuning in here to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We appreciate everybody out there watching here tonight. The RSR Cup Series take on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And, man, people say this track's boring, but I don't know. I love this track, Brandon.
I think it's one of those things you and I talk about quite often, that the races that are kind of monotonous and frustrating from a driver standpoint always seem to be the ones that are the most fun to call. You know, I hate racing at Indy, but the broadcasts, they're always really fun to call. There's just so much going on. The battles are really intense, and the strategy even more so. So, from just the outside looking in, it's a lot of fun. But when, all you've got to focus on is hitting your lines, just trying to figure out, how do I get around this dirty air? How do I make these passes on these guys? It's incredibly frustrating from a driver's standpoint.
Well, tell you what's incredibly frustrating is making a huge mistake, and who did that was the 48 Hunter Hayward. He went way too far in his box. He had to back up multiple times, and I believe he's going to come out somewhere around the 10th position there after that little pit. And looks like most guys there, other than GT, he did not take tires. Trevor Massetti, it looks like Hunter Hayward took tires. So some drivers electing to take tires. I think that's the wrong call, but let's hear from our stage winner of GT Arizari, and here he has to say about pulling it off here for stage number 1 here, and he'll get a chat here with Brandon.
GT, you got your ears on, bud.
Yes, sir.
Well, extending that points lead, getting this stage win. 10 points going a long way. Playoffs are coming around, but you're locked in. But, getting the stage win, get you up here to talk to us, always a good time, man. How's the racing out there, first of all? Looks like you guys are having your hands full as the run goes on.
Actually pretty good, man. I mean, obviously, they were slowing down a lot on the older tires. I'm going to be a sitting duck here big time. I did not take tires, and I thought we were going to have more people to play that game, but apparently not. So this is going to be interesting as hell right here, just to not get run over right now.
Well, I got to tell you, you're not the only one that was surprised that more people did not elect to not take tires there. That was the call that Zach and I were going with, is that a lot of people weren't going to. So hopefully this works out for you guys, not to get run over. Hopefully everybody's pretty calm with these fresh tires, man. But, how do you think your chances are? We saw Travis Everett come flying up through the field. Looks like he's got a lot of pace. You think maybe you got anything for him as the run goes on?
Oh yeah, I mean we all practice together out here, so we know how each other run and stuff like that. I mean we were kind of running a little hard up here just to have a little bit of fun and allowed him to catch up. But, you know, every week we come out to a track. I mean, you can't count Travis out. I mean, so I think it's going to be fun. And like I said, my main goal right now is just to not get wrecked or don't get myself wrecked, rather. You know, hopefully I can get out of the way in time of these guys with fresh tires and just make it to the end of the stage and then reset things. I don't know if this was the right call. It was a call, but I just don't know if it was the right call, so we'll see.
Well, you never know if it's the right call until it's too late. But gonna be keeping a close eye, bud, and let you get back down there to get ready to go green. And gonna be watching with great interest, man. Good luck.
Oh, and I cut him off. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, GT. I didn't know if he was going to say that. I waited. But that was my bad. I was fast on the trigger, GT. I'm sorry. I pulled it. And he's back down here. Yeah, quick draw Zach Hall. Man, we just started something up here. I like that nickname, actually. Quick draw Zach Hall. We'll write that one down. Get the paper. There we go. All right. We're good to go. Got my daily note down. And, man, stage 1 over. GT able to win it, but the big storyline for me also is he didn't take tires. We had a lot of guys did take tires also. Also Curtis Preston 21st after that stage, after leading some laps after that mistake on pit road. Let's see what happens here as we're going to go back. Green flag racing got some different strategies being played here as the green flag is out. What a start for Everett and GT. I mean, they're two-car tandem in here down the front straightaway as they're going to have a tough time though. Remember, they're on their old tires.
And Zach, I've been in the position, I'm sure you remember, as you were a car that started behind me. The last race I did at Indy, decided to not take tires, and GT is going to be holding on here, just saying, please don't hit me, please don't hit me. I'm going to get out of your way, just please don't hit me.
You're going to see Hunter Hayward here coming up on the back bumper. You know, this is going to be an afterthought if Hayward can get around him. Here he goes to the inside, down to 3. Right now, GT, like he said, survival is going to be the game mode for him. And right now, doing a great job of that as he slides back to second. Here comes teammate Travis Everett to the inside as they're going to battle. Also got Andrew Little here, Zach Schrittenthal, and Jeff Carson. Multiple drivers coming by, looking pretty quick here as GT's got to hang on the old tires.
Yeah, and it's really just go high in all the corners. Make sure you give everybody plenty of room. Don't give them an opportunity to misjudge your speed and get into you there. And this is a really long-term game plan here for GT, as well as, you know, Travis Everett, some of the other guys on older tires. You're setting up for the long run at the end of the race, and that's absolutely when you want to have the most speed here. You're going to get points, but if you've already got wins, if you're somebody like Hunter Hayward that's already got a win, you know, you want to do that and not really worry too much about the points. Try to just get another win just to get wins at this point. But also try different things. So some guys are just trying different things to shake up the strategy a little bit. If you feel like you're a little bit off pace, that's kind of what you have to do, is you kind of put yourself in a position where if something falls in a certain way that's going to help you and maybe hurt the other guy's strategy, that's the best way to go. But, you know, like talk about with GT, you don't know until you know. And by then it's way too late to really do much about it.
Yeah, I still think he's going to make the right call here, Brandon, because personally, these guys are still, even if it is a one-stop race after our second stage, they're still going to have to save a set of tires. If they take their next set of tires here, then, well, actually, no. They will actually be good if it goes to a one-stop. Yeah, so, I mean, it's going to be a shit. If they get a caution at any point, it's going to play to the GT's favor, for sure.
Well, now GT, whoa, GT 3 wide now through turn 3. Oh, that was dangerous for a second there. Looked like 28 just misjudged his entry speed just a little bit. That's what we were talking about. That's the biggest danger, being on the older tires. These guys can sail off into the corner so much faster than you can, and really easy to get rear-ended.
Yeah, you're seeing right now GT doing a great job just holding this line. That's what you do as a driver like this. You kind of say, you know, the faster guys are going to go inside. I hold my line. I stay nice and steady for them, and they're going to go by me, hopefully, and not causing me any issues. As it's going to be a long way to the back of the pack here for the 14. You know, they pulled this strategy off. Oh, huge wreck, Curtis Preston. Oh, no, my pick is out. Oh, and they're scattered here on the back straightaway. Oh, no, off of 2. Man, that is unfortunate. That was a heavy hit. I do not know what happened there, but we'll have to go back on our Freaky Fast replay and see exactly what happened. I know it was James Quattrone and the 29 of Curtis Preston there. So we'll go back here side by side down into 2 between that 38 and that 29. Here, look at this. The 29 of Curtis Preston pretty low on the racetrack. Kind of caught the curb just a little bit. Oh, and that car just went straight.
Yeah, it just
Oh,
stopped
man.
right there and just slight contact with the left front of the 38 of James Catrone. Heavy contact for both cars. More so Curtis Preston. Looked like James able to get away with minimal damage there, maybe only even on the right rear of that car.
Wow, man. Yeah, a little bit of right front damage with a hit to the rear of Preston, but man, Curtis Preston taking a heavy lick past his chain. And man, I think that was a case, Brandon, of just he entered lower, trying to clear that 38, the 22 ahead of him, just sliding down in front of him as the moment he gets that apex in that curb, catches that curb, that dirty air starts to affect that car. And man, I'm telling you, that thing just went straight at that point. And then from there, it was just a little bit of the hooking of the bumpers between the 38 and his quarter panel. And that's what you see caused that. So, man, unfortunate for Curtis Preston. Had so much pace and put himself back there with a unfortunate mistake, I believe, on pit road.
Yeah, and that's really the worst case scenario. You make a mistake at a track that track position is so important, and get yourself put back there, and then get caught up in something. Unfortunate for Curtis Preston there. When we talked about it, he was going to be such a fast car here after dominating the race last season here at Indy. And also, quick update, looking at the 38 of James Catrone, at first glance, damage didn't look too bad. I've gone back and looked at it, and that is pretty substantial damage on the node of the 38 there. So, going to be trying to get that fixed for sure. Hopefully, not any engine damage for himself or Curtis Preston can kind of salvage something out of this.
Yeah, heavy collision there for him. And, just unfortunate for those two drivers getting caught up in that right there to bring out that caution. Now the drivers, they all fake pit road, Brandon, because we do, they're close on fuel, but this should give them, I guess, the amount they need. They're still going to need to save maximum amount here they can, but while we're under caution here, I don't know if you would like to, but how about we talk to that 2 car of Zach Schrittenthal, since you said he does have only 8 starts this season, so hasn't been able to get the full season under his belt. And like I said, I expect him to be running top 5. I mean, he showed a lot of speed last season, but has missed some races this season. It's good to see him back up in the top 5. Let's go ahead and bring him up here in the waiting room from Stealth Motorsports and see how his night is going so far here at Indianapolis.
Hey, Zach, it's Brandon up in the booth. You got a
Hey, what's up?
Well, man, having a pretty good run out there at Indy tonight. Touched on the fact you missed a couple races earlier in the season here. I'm not sure if you feel confident that you're going to be able to make your way in on points for the playoffs here, only 3 weeks away. But having a pretty good run tonight, man. How's the car feeling for you?
It's feeling good. Yeah, had some work stuff. Just moved to Nashville, so yeah, missed quite a few races. Not really too worried about points or trying to get in. I think I missed too many races, so just out here trying to put good runs together. And but yeah, it's feeling really good. It's definitely good to be back.
Glad to have you back. Missed you out on the track while you were away. Work. Sometimes we don't get paid to do this for full time here, so real life stuff's got to come first at times. But like I said, glad to have you back out here and putting together some pretty good pace. And like you said, not worried about points too much, so you can kind of take some chances and just go for wins and have some fun out here. But right now, imagine like you're having a good bit of fun, pretty clean car, and decent track position. Second question I got to ask: how's that dirty air for you?
It gets pretty loose, I'm not gonna lie. I've had a few close calls already, so I'm learning a lot pretty quick. But once we get settled down after these restarts, it's pretty comfortable, and I feel like I can really get after it.
Man, thanks for talking with us during this caution here. Let you get back down there, get ready to go green, and wish you the best of luck. Try to keep the car clean and come away with a good finish.
All right, thanks, guys. Good to be back. Good to talk to you guys again. Have a great race.
All right, that was Zach Schrittenthal there from Stealth Motorsports. Good to have him back, like you said there. So, yeah, unfortunate for him. He's, like you said, way out of a shot for the championship right now, actually sitting 36 in points. One top 10 this season in those 8 starts and no top 5s. He can change that tonight, I believe, and that's something I would expect to change from him because, like I said, man, he's had last season, he had moments of brilliance and had some moments where he had, not the long run pace he probably needed. But man, I tell you what, the 2 is always one to watch, and good to see him out here back out on the track and having a good run here tonight at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And the strategies right now are all galore. I mean, it's kind of interesting right now. You see Travis Everett here right before we go through restart time. He's on the opposite strategy of his teammate GT Rosari. So we'll have to see which slide job racing driver gets that right. But one thing I can tell you will be right. We're going green this time as the pace car is in. And man, Hunter Hayward wasted no time. I mean, we are still under caution, and there's the green as Hayward is almost to the start-finish line. This guy, he really wanted to get out front there as he had a pretty good little gap on that 59 Everett, as I think Everett was just trying to let the tires come in nice and easy.
Yeah, that's the danger for Hunter Hayward going out. And he pulled out that big gap, really didn't want to see the caution, but now we know how good Travis Everett's been at the end of that last run before everybody was having to come in. He was reeling in the leaders from so far back, making up a lot of time. Now, Hunter Hayward's kind of burned up the stuff a little bit where Travis Everett was taking it pretty easy, and you see now Travis Everett getting the track down the backstretch, really opening up his corners a good bit, not burning up the tires too much, trying to keep him hitched way too far down. And I imagine it won't be too long. Travis Everett will be right on the back bumper of Hunter Hayward looking to make that pass.
Another great run here from the 81 of Jeff Carson in the 6th position. They were a winner not too long ago in the season, and able to do that on some strategy play. And man, right now, putting himself in the 5th position after that 19th starting spot. This guy, tell you what, he does not miss a beat. Runs great in the ARCA series, comes here in Cup Series, runs great also.
Yeah, and talk about the ARCA being the feeder series, giving the opportunity to some guys come in and do a fill-in role here, and making the most of it for Jeff Carson, able to show his speed each and every week. Even, talk about Charlotte, that strategy call. Had a beat-up race car, a couple incidents when all that happened. Man, had the tires at the right time to offset that damage and just absolutely flew up to take that win away. And again, showing his speed here with a top 5 at this point in the race. Directly behind him, Matthew Rush, still looking for that, really solid run. Again, another one of those guys that's had those flashes of speed. He was a Final Four contender for last season and has dialed up the pace a good bit, but last week, qualified on the pole, got a stage win, and just immediately seemed to get caught into a wreck and kind of ruin his chance at a good finish there. So looking to rebound nicely inside the top 10 with a pretty clean car so far at this point in the race. Just hanging out here, trying to let it come to him.
Matthew Rush sitting here in 6th position. Also got Nolan Potter, Ryan Bean coming into the picture also. We got Junior Miller. We got Adam Buzzio having a great run there in the 11th spot. Casey Kuntz there in 12th. I mean, a lot of guys having some good runs tonight here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as we're crossing the line here to complete lap 39 of 100. Right now, out front, Hunter Hayward still holding on to that thing, trying to get himself a win. But I tell you what, GT still sitting in 16th, hanging on. Harold Watkins behind him in the 22. Not doing too bad for still out there on the old tires for himself. This race has got some interesting strategy going to it. If we get cautions in that long segment after stage 2 ends here, we could see GT really be helped out by that, I believe.
Well, unfortunately, I don't know if you noticed it, Zach, but the rear end of GT's got a little bit of cosmetic on it. I believe the 18 of Stephen Baldwin and the 14 made contact a number of laps ago. Heard some radio communication about that. GT asking about how bad the damage was. And said it wasn't too bad. It doesn't look too bad. Spoilers still look pretty straight there. Better on the rear than the nose, I suppose. But definitely not wanting any damage, especially knowing that he's on the older tires. Warning guys, hey, I'm on older tires. If you're going to go by, just go on by. I'm not going to fight you for it.
Yeah, you can see it here from the onboard of the 22 of Harold Watkins. I mean, you can see how bent up that right rear is, and that's a good downforce maker and side force maker for these cars. That it's not going to be as worse as what we would have with the right front here damage on that front end. But man, that is a critical part of the car. He's going to want to get that work going under the stage right.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I mean, he's going to be, I imagine a lot of guys are not going to be taking tires during this caution here where he is, so he's going to lose the track position anyway. Go ahead and sit on pit road and get it fixed. Your strategy is going to cycle you to the lead on speed regardless. Just go ahead and get that fixed and hopefully stay out of the same problems that your teammate Curtis Preston found himself in earlier, getting cycled to the back. But that's something you got to deal with when that time comes.
This is a great little train of action here. Looking at the 68 Andrew Lewis. He's got passed by Schrittenthal now. Let's put Schrittenthal up the second. And you can see up front the two leaders snaking. Now, this is one thing I want to talk to you about, Ryan, as we go up to our leaders with the snaking maneuver back and forth with the leaders. This is something this is something mental, I think, with drivers. You're going to see some drivers do this move where they're going to snake in front. I think that's a really smart move out front. I like, racing is a game of mental warfare too. You're going to see Travis Everett follow him this time, but there's a few times Travis Everett has not followed him and has still caught him. I think by not following that person snaking, you're kind of almost mentally playing with them, saying, I don't even need your draft. I'm still going to catch you. And if you feel like you're faster, I feel like that's the smarter thing to do, because it kind of says, why is this guy not following me? And you're kind of, it almost makes you look like you're doing it for no reason going way down there. So Everett, as he's got closer, has used it. But, man, I tell you, I like to have that, effect where I don't need your draft. I'm going to use the racetrack where I run if I'm all by myself.
Yeah, and that's kind of the approach that I take as well. It's very situational. It depends on exactly how much you feel that draft is really going to be benefiting you, exactly how much you need it. But, Travis Everett, he's been getting really good runs out of the corners. And, a lot of times I don't bother following the guy.
Right there. Yeah, look at that.
It's just another thing that the guy leading is going to have to keep in his mind. He's like, okay, I need to nail this corner. How close is he behind me? Keep the eyes in the mirror. But then he's also got to worry about, okay, every single, exit of the corner, I've got a snake. And that could really mess up his exit. He could be putting more wheel into it, trying to get it back to the right or back to the left, and putting more wear on the right front there, more attempts into it, which is going to help you in the long run. And you see, again, Travis Everett not even bothering with it. The draft is nice, but, I mean, outright speed, you don't really need to rely on it too much at the same time here. And you see Travis Everett also, just trying to find a little bit of clean air, almost late apex in the corner to get the clean air on the nose toward the exit of the corner and improve his drive off as well.
Well, I can tell you one thing. The 48 out front, I can see he's very, very, very strong for 100. He's looking very good right now. Nothing against the 40 out front, but I do see a weakness in his game. He does not get all the way to the bottom there. As you see, he opens up, needs a little bit of clean air for that 59 to get there. And I tell you what, if Everett is that close, if he's within one Carlin and he misses the bottom by half a Carlin, he's going to be way out the groove. And I'm going to tell you what, that 59 is going to get to his inside if he's close. So he's got to be careful and not overdrive the entry, especially down here in the 43. Very easy to get down into way too hard. And last time by, he was in there way too deep. That time was able to get the white line, got a great exit. But that's the one chink in his armor. If Everett's going to have a shot here before it ends, he's got to know that that 48 does wash up a little bit sometimes by overdriving that entry.
Yeah, if you get close enough to put pressure on him, really force him to overdrive a little bit, knowing that, you've been watching that for a number of laps here. Something to have in your back pocket, kind of feint a move, feint like you're going to drive him in really hard, make him drive in just a little bit harder, knowing he's going to wash up, check up to your entry, and get a great run off, and be able to make that move to the inside down the backstretch. And that's an easy way to make a pass.
Hey, look at this battle, Jeff Carson and Nolan Potter. Looks like Carson going to be able to, nope, not clear. Looks like Potter getting the help of Ryan Bean here down the back straightaway. What a shove that is. It's going to let Potter clear the 81. Jeff Carson, oh man, that sent Potter so deep into the corner. Ryan Bean says, thank you very much. I'll take. Oh, that was very close. Down in the 4 now. Looks like he'll be able to make that move as the exit side by side. Actually, Noah Potter's still fighting here. He may get the help of Jeff Carson this time.
Well, I was going to say you don't want anybody better than Ryan Bean giving you some bump drafts at any track, but that was a full send-off into the corner there for Nolan Potter off the nose of Ryan Bean, just carrying a whole ton of speed. Somehow able to keep that position, though. Good job fighting back on the outside. Now Ryan Bean going to have to try to figure out another way to get by there. And I've got to say, Ryan Bean doing pretty well considering the damage he had on the nose earlier, able to get that fixed up pretty well. A little bit of a wrinkle still on the hood. The seam is still busted open just a little bit there, but still plenty of speed in the 25.
I tell you what, out front right now.
Oh, and they're wrecking into 3.
Oh no, big wreck.
I just happened to catch that as I was cycling toward the lead there. Adam Buzzio absolutely hooked to the right going into 3 off the nose of Junior Miller. Oh, that was a hard lick.
Oh, huge lick. We'll have to go back on the Freaky Fast replay. Looks like one car involved between the 55 and that 28 here going down the back straightaway. You're going to see Adam Buzzio in that white car with the black stripe. He's leading another white car in the 28 Junior Miller. Looks like Miller's just going to get in a little too hot on the outside and be right on the right rear of that bumper. And that is just going to shoot the 55 directly in the wall. And from there, man, he's going to turn into Tony Hawk and do a 900 and not even touch the ground. I mean, that hard lick for Adam Buzzio. And what a great run he was having going, man. I'm gutted for this guy right now.
It seems like that's kind of the story of Adam Buzzio's season. He's just been having really good races, and then it seems like trouble is just looking for him out there on the track. Just cannot seem to avoid it there. And unfortunately, another junked race car for the 55 there. Like you said, having another really good run as well. It's really heartbreaking.
Man, what a heartbreaking, right there in the top 10, man. That's unfortunate. He was having a great run here tonight, and that's going to come to an end here. Now, this should be the stage in for stage 2, Brandon. But this thing is, though, because it ends early now, this makes it a longer distance before we get going back green for that final stage. This makes it actually even more interesting for our strategies, because a 2-stopper could be in the works if they happen to happen. But somebody will make this in a 1-stop. Mark my words from the end of this stage.
I think there's absolutely going to be somebody that's going to try it. I know me personally, if I'm thinking, okay, I've got a shot, it's definitely within the realm of possibility. I'm the type of guy that's going to go for it. So I absolutely am going to think somebody's going to try. Whether it's going to succeed or not, we will have to find out. But there's always risk takers out there, and sometimes you got to risk it for the biscuit. And it looks like already guys, GT now just not coming into his box. And guys already coming out of pit road. Looks like Hunter Hayward, Zach Schrittenthal, Jeff Carson going to be coming out in 3rd position there. And I believe they just went with fuel only for the stop where GT finally taking those tires.
Well, Hunter Hayward was able to win stage number 2 here tonight. Let's go ahead and bring him on up after he's got his pit stop service done on that number 48. And hear what he has to say about winning himself another stage here in the RSR Cup Series. Here's Hunter Hayward.
Hey, Hunter, Brandon up in the booth. Got a copy?
Hey, I know that voice.
Well, get to talk to you quite a bit here as of late, Hunter. Congratulations on the stage 2 victory. Putting those fresh tires to use now, cycling out. Going to be on the older tires. Some guys behind you finally taking that set of tires. A little bit worried now. Kind of maybe on the back foot for this longer stretch here. Not guaranteed any cautions anymore starting out on the older set. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty confident as long as I can just stay away from the madness and not get scrummed up like other cars have been earlier this evening. But yeah, I did the math, and it looks like this whole 50-lap run, we're going to have to make at least 2 stops if it stays green. So I'm hoping it stays green and that I can have these extra 2 sets. But right now, I will be on older tires. At least I'll lead the restart and not get jumbled up with other cars. A ton of checkup on the restart. So I'm looking forward to the ending of the stage, not the beginning of it. But like you said, no guaranteed cautions. So I guess we'll find out.
You've had pretty good pace starting 3rd, able to get up to the lead here after the first stage. And able to really hold on. It looked like Travis was going to be pretty, Travis is going to be pretty hard to hold off there with even tires. But you were snaking a little bit, keeping him at bay, able to bring home the stage win. Any worries about the car? Any worries about the handling? What's it starting to feel like at the end there?
Oh man, it pushes unbelievable. In dirty air, you're off the gas for a majority of the corner. It's all about tire management here, and I know that's Indy with any package, but this package it's tight all the time, even in the beginning of the run. But at the end of the run, if you're in dirty air, you just got to pray and hope you don't hit the wall.
But let you get back down there, get ready to take this thing back green. Wish you the best of luck, and hopefully talk to you at the end of this thing.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, that was your stage 2 winner, Hunter Hayward. On an interesting strategy once again for this 48. Right here, we're going to take the green though on complete lap 50. So we're going to have 50 to go. So you're going to have to make it 25 laps. So we've seen Kevin Zabledil do it, but can you do it and keep the lead? I don't know. That's the problem. So I think for these leaders, they have to do the strategy that they're doing right now of pitting twice. So he's going to save that set of tires. But then, Everett decided to take tires, and most of the guys behind him. So we'll see how it plays out now as pace car is going to pull in this time, and we're going to go green flag racing as Hunter Hayward is off in a way as he's got a nice little gap there to Schrittenthal and Carson heading down the 1. But he's going to be on older tires, so he's going to have to stay alive here the best he can here in the 48 down to the end.
It looks like Travis Everett and Trevor Massetti going to be on the pressure tires in the 4th and 5th position. Jeff Carson falling into the clutches of Travis Everett now. Zach Schrittenthal continuing his impressive run, sitting in 2nd currently, but that's not going to last too much longer as those fresh tires really get up to speed here and up to temp, able to carry a lot more of their speed. But now, Jeff Carson's still hanging on to that 3rd position, up 16 spots as well. I believe that makes him our biggest mover of the race so far to this point.
Oh man, look at that there. Looks like Jeff Carson going to get passed by Travis Everett and Trevor Massetti on the new tires. And you can see the old tires just having a huge effect. Hunter Hayward able to get a good gap though. That's a promising sign for him. But the thing is, Brandon, if he's going to have to make 2 pit stops here in this next stage, I think personally this sounds crazy, but you pit now, because right now you're just hurting yourself running on these tires. You're gonna lose time in the overall game of things playing here. But if you catch a caution, it works out. There's so many different strategies, and that's why Indy right now could be beautiful. These guys got to be thinking that on the fly. And that's why I'm glad up in the booth. I'm up in the booth thinking of this stuff and not out there driving this. Look at this, Travis Everett going to go to the outside of Hayward. Dangerous spot here. Oh, God, here comes Massetti. I didn't know if he was going to take it 3 wide. That is a great call from Trevor Massetti. That kid is wise beyond his years with racecraft, I must tell you.
Well, they're getting calls that they're wrecking in turn 4, and there's the caution.
And I'm telling you what, you pit now and get them tires.
Absolutely.
Looks like Bob Fitzpatrick in the 3. We'll go back on our Freaky Fast replay here for our 4th caution tonight, brought to you by Or Nissan Central. You're going to see here. Oh, 52 of Nathan Campbell on the exit, getting into the wall. Oh, another time in the wall, and Bob Fitzpatrick nowhere to go. Same with Kevin Zabledil. Oh, hard lick for those 3 drivers. Oh, there goes the 23 of Chad Biesinger. At least 4 or 5 cars. Kevin Ruff in the 112. Hard licks for a lot of these drivers, taking out a few of these guys. Oh, and there's another one. David Hall in the 21. Man, at least 6, 7 cars involved in here in this Or Nissan Central caution.
Yeah, it looked like, I'm not sure if that was somebody on older tires. I don't know if Nathan Campbell was on older tires, but I believe Bob Fitzpatrick, just looking at his closing rate, I was following him and GT, looking at GT slice up through the field, and it may have just been that closing rate, and then getting up into the wall, just not having the grip to stay out of the fence there. And unfortunately, Bob Fitzpatrick nowhere to go, and that just kind of happens sometimes. You saw him try to make the late move to get around, but just catching the left rear, and then bouncing back off into Kevin Zabledil to cause all of that there.
Carnage here happening on lap 53. Looks like Hayward not electing to come down. He gives up a lot of track position by doing that, so I understand the call there for the guys who didn't pit to come back down there. But man, you're taking a pit stop away right here. And now if you're Travis Everett, is my thing, is he should be able to save enough fuel to where he can one stop it. He's on his set of tires. He has 1 set left, so he's going to one stop from the end here. He's in a perfect position personally while some of these other guys are sitting in not the greatest spots, man.
Yeah, I think it's the way that the caution just came out. It's kind of killed the strategy for some guys, but like you said, Hunter Hayward relying on those 2 sets. Everybody can make it if they pit here on a 1-stop. It's gonna be absolutely doable. So just come in now, play the hand that you've been dealt now. You've got the extra set. It's not like you're going to be without a set for the rest of the race for that last pit stop. Go ahead, come in, get that set on there. You're giving up the track position, sure, but you're going to have the speed to get it back, whereas you're just guaranteed to lose track position right now and hope you can gain it back, all of it, during that one pit stop you're going to be able to make.
Be a tall task, Brandon. Tall task for that driver there. Man, I would hate to be him right now. Personally, these other guys who took tires now, they're sitting really nice. And they're saying, hey, that worked out pretty nice. Now I can 1-stop it to the end here.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about GT earlier, he's up to the 15th position now. He was absolutely slicing and dicing through the field there, and being very cautious doing it as well. A number of times could have easily gone 3 wide to gain a decent handful of positions. And saying over the radio, he's like, "Oh, come on, guys, I need you to sort out what you're doing here. I'm really trying not to go 3 wide." Still being aggressive, but also being smart and aware that, hey, yeah, that's, I'm on a good strategy here. This probably isn't the best decision, trying to gain these 2 spots now and potentially get myself wrecked out of this thing.
Well, pace car lights are off this time. We'll go back green flag racing with Travis Everett out front. Hunter Hayward out front with Travis Everett second as Hayward's lined up on the outside lane. I believe he's doing that because he knows he's on the older tires. He kind of knows this is a foregone conclusion down here into 1, most likely, for him in the 48. But man, he's sitting in an interesting spot. Really, I think what he's got to do here, Brandon, is he's in his bed. He's made it. He's got to pit here, hopefully, and make it, make that 1-stop work. But then if he gets a caution at the end, the big thing is he'll have an extra set of tires. So that's the one thing he's going to have in his back pocket. If these other drivers get to that, final stop, they make the stop, and there's a caution 5-6 laps later, he's going to be looking pretty good off then, and the other drivers who have a set of tires too.
The only problem with that is there's so many cars in the field that if there's not a lot of people on that same strategy, you're going to have to pass a lot of cars in potentially only 5 or less laps. It could be more than that, but it's still not a lot of time. And for as narrow as the racing groove is, 2 cars side by side ahead of you, there's not much options for you to pass them. You've kind of got to wait until they get sorted out, and it can cost you a lot.
We'll have to see how it all shakes out. This is the beauty of racing right here on iRacing. Make sure you go to iRacing.com, check out what they have in store for you there. Trust me, you don't want to miss it because this is pure adrenaline racing action. Pace car in this time. So we're going to go back green flag racing. Hayward off and away is Travis Everett going to lead us down to 1 as he's going to get the good restart. And Slider going first.
I'm not sure if Hunter was trying to bait something out of Travis Everett there. Maybe just maybe a little wheel spin, maybe a little off timing on his shifting there. But Travis Everett getting a really good restart. Now just hoping to not get run over by Trevor Massetti here. Massetti should be able to get a good run going down out of turn 4. Doesn't look like he's going to get the run to go into turn 3 and make that pass.
Yeah, Massetti there, very smart by him. Not overdoing it, but I'll tell you what, Hayward's got to know the situation there. You're on older tires. That driver's going to have a lot fresher. Ooh, man. Kind of pulled out right in front of that 88, and that's going to give them to some damage, and that's going to set them back as Everett says, thank you, guys. I'm going to pull away.
Yeah, Massetti commending the save for Hunter Hayward there. But like you said, knowing you're on the older tires, not going to be able to sail it in as deep as them. Just got to stay out of the way there. He was very fortunate that did not get turned around in front of the entire field.
Yeah, that's one where, you're losing time if you give it the position, but at the same time, it's risk management. You're going to be losing those spots anyways. You might as well make it easy on the driver so that driver doesn't have to make that quick reaction, because sometimes it's hard to judge that how old some of those tires are. As you can see, for all this action is heating up as Hayward's still trying to hang on to positions. He's going to have to be careful, though. Ryan racing very hard. Ryan Bean for that 4th spot.
Yeah, you're giving up time letting guys go running the outside, but you're going to be giving up a whole lot more time while you're all junked up on the truck going back home and these guys out here racing.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that's exactly what the whole thought process there. I'm like, oh, man, he's going to go to the inside of Ryan Bean, try to make a pass of the older tires. That was a bold move, Cotton, for some of the older tires, but definitely, you know, it's interesting to see the different strategies. You see GTR's right. He was on lower tires. He was almost getting out of the way from people, pulling over, waving them by with the blinker signal and saying, go ahead, go by, and sticking his head out of the way. Hunter Hayward, he's trying to hold on to his position and hold on to that time. That's a risk you take as a driver, and that's just the difference between styles, man.
Yeah, you've got to hope that the guys behind you that you're racing with, costing time on their fresh tires, are going to have a bit of patience with you, because I know there's quite a few guys that are not going to have those that amount of patience that are going to move you. You know, especially, you know, it's not quite to that point yet, but you know, I certainly have raced with quite a few people that absolutely by that point would have moved you out of the way. But you know, I'm actually honestly pretty impressed with the amount of speed that he's been able to get out of his tires, considering how old they are. Still able to hold on to 6 now, but GT flying here. GT gonna make the pass on himself, and Casey Kuntz now looking to make himself his way up into the top 5.
GT really doing a heck of a drive here from this 14, now up into position, up into the top 5 for that 14. He's been flying, man. He's going to be one to watch out for. I mean, he's 4.2 seconds behind Travis, and right now with the one-stop race, he's going to have a lot of work to do to catch his teammate.
Yeah, work cut out for him, but he's got fresh tires and soon to be pretty clean air. And so we've got a couple guys starting to come down pit road. Nolan Potter and Brock Potter both coming into pit this time by. A little bit of family coordination there from the Potters. I'll have to see how their strategy works out for them as they're making their way down here. But this will definitely open it up to that one stop for sure for them. Should not have any problems making it on fuel to the end on one more stop.
Yeah, these drivers here should be able to make it pretty easily for one stop for them with 40 to go. So no problems there. Now the other drivers up front, you know, I think Everett has kind of pushed into saving mode almost here, as he's got Massetti all over him.
Oh, getting word, Zach Schrittenthal coming in this time by as well. Anthony Muniz also coming in to pit, but Travis Everett, maybe like you said, just trying to conserve a little bit of fuel here. He's got an opportunity, and he's going to be burning more fuel running out front. He's not going to have to be off throttle like Hunter Hayward talked about. In the dirty area, it seems like you're off throttle a lot more than the guy that's in the clean air leading the field here. So maybe just trying to back off a little bit, maybe still trying to go for that one stop, maybe not feeling a little bit comfortable with where the fuel's at, even with the caution we had at lap 54 or so. Thinking maybe we can't make it all the way. Also getting word Jeff Carson coming in the pit, so they're definitely not the only ones thinking that. Seems like Harold Watkins in the 22 calling out. He is coming down pit road as well. So a substantial amount of people coming in. Hayward now dropped back to the 8th position. Jeff Carson, yep, Matthew Rush, Harold Watkins coming in now. Mike Martino moving up to 14th. Kevin Dowd up to 15th position off of those pit stops. J.R. Miller in the 28, even with contact with Adam Buzzio earlier on, still sitting in the 7th position, up 10 spots. Having a pretty solid top 10 run for himself tonight as well.
Well, I can tell you what, one thing, Brandon, there is Ryan Bean goes up into second, as you can see Andrew Little there about to be under attack from GT Rizard for that 4th spot. Man, if you're not going for the one stop here, you need to pit now, because right now you're wasting time, valuable time out on this racetrack of using those 2 sets of tires or making that, you know, the 2 stop to the end here, because if you try to get there and then don't make it, you're just wasted a bunch of time that you could have had on new tires and not going to have much time to make it back up on the new tires. So, and look, there's a caution. Oh, no. Oh, is there actually? No, I believe our ticker's wrong. Oh, man. Yeah, our ticker is saying there's a caution. But we do not have a caution. Sorry about that. That is completely my fault, but looks I believe we might have had a little bit of a bug there, but
I will hate it.
oh, that threw me off guard. Well, that never no caution, everybody, no caution. Don't worry.
I will hate to get flipping through the field going, where is it?
Oh man, that was that one scared me. I was like, well, that changes everything. But man, now still green here. It's still like I said. If you were going to go for the one stop, you need to be here planned on it, because if you're not, you need to be hitting pit road. And drivers like Hunter Hayward, especially guys who have 2 sets of tires left, if you're not doing the one stop, you have to pit now.
Absolutely. It's one of those things that you have to make up your mind well ahead of time. You cannot second guess. You have to commit one way or the other. You can't say, okay, I'm planning on making the one stop, and then it's too late, later in the running, you're like, man, I can't make it, I got to pit. You're just costing yourself the race. There's no recovering from that. You're putting yourself way too off sequence. And the good news is, if you're somebody who has 2 sets of tires, you can split this into 2 stops. The fall off, just the amount of fall off we're talking about is over 2 seconds a lap. You can absolutely destroy these tires. Go out and just burn them up and get as much time as possible, knowing you've got another set. And if these other guys are going to be off the pace if you stick into the one-stop strategy, you may just be able to beat them on outright pace, not even just trying to cut down the amount of time on pit road. And that might make all the difference. That's something you've got to consider here. But other guys that just decide to stay out, sticking to this, try to stick into the one-stop strategy, like you talked about. If you've got 2 sets, if we get that late caution, it may work out putting that extra set on there. It's just the amount of guys that decide to stay out, or maybe on that same strategy with that set, and maybe get a good track position to do it.
We're about to see we're nearing lap 70. I think to have a good, a good feeling about making it to the end there, Brandon, on fuel, I think you need to put about 23 or 22 together.
And I think that's the safe number if you can reach it. It also kind of accounts for the green-white check, because if you put it right on the edge and you're only able to make it just to the end of the race, that is perfectly fine if we only go to lap 100. The second we get a late caution set up green-white checkered, you're going to give up a lot of track position because you absolutely have to hit where other guys are going to be sitting pretty good. And getting word on the radio now, Hunter Hayward deciding to come into pit road.
Yeah, looks like on lap 66, he's going to come down. Interesting call here with 66 here. So, I mean, he's going to have, still a good amount of time to make up 34 laps. So I think you split that up personally. I mean, you split that up into about 18 lap runs, It's, really all you can do, and make the most out of your tires, because if you pit now, you're definitely not making it to the race.
Yeah, it's a little bit too much of too late of a commitment to that 2-stop strategy, because you've pitted about 10 laps later than you should have on the 2-stop strategy, and about 10 laps too early to make the 1-stop.
Yeah, definitely got to work on the strategy for the 48. Just great run. I think this is something I not to harp on it, but just that's something I've noticed with the 48. Oh,
Drone spinning out of turn 4. It looks like, maybe not a caution. He gets it straightened up. That was a close one. That almost shook up everything.
He had no cars around him, so no caution came out. Man, that was close, Brandon.
That almost was a saving grace for Hunter Hayward. Just the timing of his pit stop. He was getting his work done as that was happening. I don't know how that wasn't a caution. I've seen cautions come out for a lot less than that. But man, that was extremely fortunate for some, and other guys are saying, man, I really wish that would have brought out a yellow.
Yeah, if that yellow would come out, Hunter Hayward would have been in the perfect spot. We would have been talking about how his strategy was so good, not the other way around.
He's a genius.
Yeah, he's a genius, guys. If that was the plan, because man, he definitely put it at the right time there. If that caution would have flew, but no caution, staying green out here. Other drivers electing to make a 1-stop while other drivers making a 2. Man, the back to the 48 Hunter Hayward we were talking about, before the hit stood there with James Catrone. I think he's got to go back and look at strategy from these races he's had, because personally, I feel like he's at least gave up a few wins this season, possibly. And not only that, but a few top 3, top 5 finishes. just from not the greatest pit strategies and getting on the wrong strategy during these races. And if you do that during the playoffs, you'll be out of a round quickly if you have 3 bad races.
Absolutely. And to the credit, it's an incredibly difficult thing to do as a driver. You know, when you've got somebody that's sitting there, that maybe somebody that's spotting for you, an extra pair of eyes, an extra mind while you're driving, it's a lot easier strategy. While you're driving, you're trying to think about hitting your marks, you know, where you're missing on pace, what you can do as adjustments, as well as trying to crunch numbers in your head. If you think you're bad at math, just sitting there in your everyday life, try to do it while you're driving a race car. I promise you it's not easy as somebody who is terrible at math any other time. So, you know, just try to figure out these strategies. It's a tough thing to do, but it's a part of racing that you got to have figured out, because you're not always going to have races where it goes green and it's just based on pace. There's a lot of times, more often than not actually, where strategy is what's going to be the difference between winning and losing a race.
30 to go coming up here. It's going to be down to who can make the most out of their fuel, their tires, their strategy, every bit a driver could do. You're going to have to do your most here tonight in Indianapolis if you want to win. I tell you what, Brandon, if you call Travis Everett winning this race, and man, I don't even know.
Well, we got like GT made his pit stop last time by, getting calls. Got some other guys coming in. Ryan Bean as well made his pit stop. Thought he might have got a speeding penalty. Looks like that did not happen. So good job avoiding the speeding penalty for the 25 to keep himself in the race.
I tell you what, with that pit stop too, you know, we had Brian Bean pit, we had Trevor Massetti. I mean, it's looking like one stop no longer going to be the way here for these drivers, because 71 laps, that's not going to do it. They're going to have to at least make it to that, I believe, that lap 76, lap 77, if they want to be able to make this thing on one stop and one tank down to the end. Right now, drivers Travis Everett, Andrew Little, Casey Kuntz, Rusty Bonsi, Tony Ludi, Michael Martino, Stephen Baldwin, and Junior Miller are the drivers yet to hit pit road.
And if they can make it, the one stop absolutely, I think, is what's going to win you this race, because you got to think GT pit a number of laps ago, but he is 29 seconds now, gaining. A couple laps ago, he was over 30 seconds behind Travis Everett. And he's got to imagine that he's going to have to pit at least another time. If Travis Everett can stretch this, or any one of these guys that have yet to come in can stretch it long enough to go to the one stop, even though they're going to be on older tires, it's not enough time for these guys to catch up if it goes green. If they get a caution, absolutely horrible for them. But if it goes green, absolutely the way to go. It's just trying to make sure you can make it. They're doing everything you can to make sure you can hit that magic number to stretch it to the end. And you want to go, like you said, a little bit extra so you don't quite have to save as much during the last stint, and you can push a little bit harder to make sure that gap you've built, they're not able to eat into and pass you because you have to save.
Well, I tell you what, still Travis Everett coming by a complete another lap 72 here. So we're going to have 28 to go right here. Going to at least need to make it to that 23 mark to go if he wants to make it to the end of this race, I believe, especially at a decent pace. You know, we've seen 25 laps be done, but you have to slow your pace down almost through the 58-second bracket for Kevin Zabado that first run. And like, that's almost too much off pace, in my opinion, to be able to hold on to that lead. As you see now, the battle raging with Hunter Hayward, GT Rosari. This is 9th and 10th as they're passing Zach Schrittenthal. Now 8th and 9th they're battling for. As here comes GT to the back bumper of the 48. GT's got much fresher tires here. Should be an easy pass for this routine.
Well, it wasn't this time by, but the last time by, GT setting the fastest lap of the race with a 51.36. So GT and the 14 absolutely getting after it right now. Hunter Hayward, though, going to be giving him a tough time.
Everett. It's pit road.
Everett,
so does Andrew Little.
Oh, no. I think this just kind of... And now, even from here, he stretched it as far as he could, maybe hoping for a caution, something. But this is going to force him to be one of the last cars to pit on the two-stop strategy here. I think maybe this is just giving up a little bit too much time, thinking, hey, maybe I can make it. and then just realizing that there was not enough that he could do to save and just giving up too much time having to bail out of it here.
Yeah, and hold on, did he I think he didn't take tires on this one. So this, because remember, he only has one set of tires left. That's going to really hurt his race right here, personally.
I think this is the gamble for getting a late caution. I think he realized that he lost so much time that he just wasn't going to win the race anyway. He put himself in a position to have a chance if the circumstances fall in the correct order for him to maybe still get the win. I like the call knowing that you've kind of just given it away at this point. The strategy you had planned to get you the win not working. Set yourself up for a plan B, and that's what he's done right now.
Yeah, I like what he's doing too. He did not take tires this time. As you see Tony Ludi now coming down to his he transferred to that lead spot there. So this should transfer it back to Trevor Mercedes' hands. But in my opinion here, Brandon, that was the right thing to do, because now if he gets a caution, at least he does still have his set of tires left. If he would have took him this time and not took him on that second stop, and the caution was come out here a few laps later, it would not look the greatest for him. But he's still saving a set of tires, so he still has a shot if we get a caution to bring it back together.
Yeah, and all I'm hearing right now is Lloyd Christmas going, so you're telling me there's a chance?
There's always a chance in racing, my friends. I think everybody, if you haven't watched racing, you should know there's always a chance in racing. You never know what could happen. I've seen crazier things happen than you would expect. And right now, I'm telling you, the driver who does not want to see a caution, and that is this man right here sitting in this 88 machine. Man, what a race it would be if he could pull the win off before these playoffs start. I mean, he's been so good this whole entire season. The only thing he doesn't have going for him is a win, and he has a win. It just was in a non-playoff or a non-points race.
And running really good pace. He's off by a little bit in GT, who I think has fresher tires, just slightly fresher tires, but still a 2-second gap here. And everybody has to pit a second time still, so still sitting in a really good position. Great track position on it. And now it's just a matter of the timing. Maybe a little bit of an undercut. GT, if he pits before GT, he's going to have older tires than GT for the last stint to the end. But GT's going to have to push a lot harder to eat into that gap and maybe force a mistake out of the 14 just having to push that hard. And that's kind of what you're aiming for here. And Trevor Mercedes putting together a pretty good race so far, in prime position to maybe finally get that first win of the season. We'll have to see how it plays out with 25 laps to go now.
Yeah, you know, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to hold GT off. Right now, matching lap times between those two up front. But my thing is, Mercedes, he's been in the position so many times this year. It's not even like he's made mistakes. It's just like it just hasn't played out for him. And my thing is, this is going to be the critical time to see, you know, when we get to those playoffs, if he has a shot at a win or a championship, you know, does he fold under the pressure or does he excel under the pressure? That's what we'll see here tonight, because with 24 laps to go, you got the 14 behind you. That is massive pressure, and knowing you have one more stop to do on a very hard pit road to hit.
Well, you know what they say, pressure makes diamonds or pressure makes dust. And, you got to figure out if you want to be dust in the wind or a nice shiny diamond. We'll have to see when it comes playoff time exactly which one stands up better to the pressure. But right now, man, we just got to get through Indy first. Some of these guys, it's nerve-wracking. Just wait and see if your strategy is going to play off. You know, who's going to be the best at the strategy game here? And so far, you know, we still are top 5. We're still pretty much the same top 5 we've had throughout the entire race. It's just a little bit different order. You know, Zach Schrittenthal pretty much running about where he's been running in 4th place. Travis Everett back to 5th now, making the pass now on Zach Schrittenthal to move himself up to 4th, even on those older tires. Hunter Hayward sitting in 3rd, GT 2nd, slowly but surely tracking down Trevor Mercedes, with the gap still closing in, but the times are kind of evening out just a little bit. 2/10 quicker for GT last time by. You got Matthew Rush sitting back in 7th place. Jeff Carson in 6th. These guys trying to have really good runs out here. The Potters, who pit super early for that 2-stop strategy, up to 8th and 9th position, have a great run for themselves as well.
Yeah, man. And I tell you what, Brandon, I just think I did some looking around. This doesn't look the greatest, but I think Trevor Mercedes is not going to set tires. Yeah, oh no, it's the big thing there. So right now, you know, yeah, he's gonna be able to make a pit stop a lot less time on pit stops, but really not even that much. I mean, it's only gonna be about 3 or 4 seconds of a difference because you still got to put a full tank in this car. Man, not the greatest situation for the 88 out front if he does not have a set. I don't believe he does right now, so I hope I'm right about that. Well, I hope for his sake I'm not right about that, but I hope I'm giving the right information here because I think going back and looking at it, he's already took 3 sets of tires during this race. So right now, GT Rosari sitting in a great spot with the freshest tires and still a set of tires sitting in the pits. Hunter Hayward actually in third. We said his strategy was bad. But guess what? Strategy's not too bad now because he's sitting in a net second if this thing goes green, probably.
Well, that's the beauty of it. You can have a bad strategy, but if you got a lot of guys that have one that's slightly worse, it still looks pretty good. And Hunter Hayward showing that now, still sitting third. And I got to say, the last time by our leader, Trevor Massetti, matched lap times with that of GT right now running second. Gap seems to have stabilized about 1.5 seconds. GT's just ever so slightly quicker on the pressure rubber here, but I'm hoping you're wrong about Travis Everett not having a set of tires. That's my pick. I need him to do well. I need him to go out here and shine, but sometimes that's what happens. Just trying to plan for certain things that just kind of don't happen. Looks like Zach Schrittenthal going to be pitting from that 5th position now. Nolan Potter in as well. Brock Potter in last time by, so the Potters again pitting much earlier than everybody else. Might work out pretty well, grabbing another handful of positions to work themselves into the top 5 potentially.
Remember, they pitted with 40 to go, 20 to go now, so I mean, it's setting up for the same thing they're about to do here. I think it's the smart thing to do. We already got a smaller fuel tank here tonight with a 60% load, so you can't really get the most out of a full long run here anyways. So if you got the tires, you might as well come down with 20 to go and half this thing. So good stuff on them to try that strategy. But yeah, now Brandon, I know you picked Travis Everett. He does have a set of tires still in the 59. It's Trevor Massetti doesn't have a set of tires in the front.
I was like, oh, no. Okay, yeah, that's absolutely heartbreaking for Trevor as well. Just not having that extra set. Whereas GT, looking at his strategy, he's still going to have that, and that gap that he's going to have at 1.4 seconds now, it's going to disintegrate as soon as GT comes down to make his stop here. I think Trevor may just have to try to run it out and just hope to save something. I don't know, draft some birds down the backstretch, anything he can. That's about the only way, somehow pulling out enough fuel to make it to the end. That's the only thing that's going to win him this race.
Yeah, he's going to need a lot of help and a lot of luck, I will say, to have that happen. But I think you're going to see pit stops happen with about 15 to go, Brandon. For leaders, at least. We'll have to see if that's what plays out here. But at the moment, Trevor Massetti holding on to that 1.3 second lead over GT Rosari's. Look back at the 31 of Casey Kuntz. He's actually broken to the top 5 here as the runs continue on. So what a run for Casey Kuntz in that 31 after starting 13th up to 5th.
Yeah, really good run for Casey in the 31. Haven't seen him up front too much. He was having a really good run at, I believe it was Talladega. I believe he got caught up in something there. It's about the only time we've seen him have a really strong race, just kind of getting mired back in traffic, getting caught up in some stuff. So great to see the 31 up in the top 5 now, having a good showing.
Another good showing looking back at the 21 of David Hall. He's got a lot of damage on that nose. We were involved in a wreck earlier, and right now sitting in that 8th position, looking pretty good. Only 29 seconds back from leader Trevor Massetti.
Yeah, and fresh tires are going to help mitigate a bunch of that damage and get good positions. Also, he's got a lot of guys ahead of him that have cycled back to make pit stops. Still going to have to make that pit stop himself, but now up to the 7th and soon to be 6th position as he's passing Dustin Stallings and Travis Everett, who have hit pit road. So David Hall just one spot outside the top 5 at this moment, but so far looking to be a pretty good run in Indy for the 21 car. Like you said, after that early wreck here, rebounding quite nicely.
There you see it, Travis Everett pulling off the pit road. He's got his service done on that 59. This will be his final stop of the race here tonight. With 16 to go, he's off going.
Well, Trevor Massetti and Hunter Hayward hitting pit road at the exact same time. GT staying out at least another lap here. Maybe leading some more laps here in Indy. Looks like Casey Coon's going to inherit the second position as of right now. Andrew Little going to follow suit, staying out to inherit third.
Cannot make no mistakes under this pit here. I mean, I tell you what, these boxes here, Brandon, one of the toughest boxes to get stopped in.
Well, the transition from the pavement to the concrete, tires don't grip very well on concrete.
There it is, 88, no tires, as you see him leaving pit road. Yes, so Trevor Massetti, no tires there. He's going to have, I would say, at least about an 8-second gap back to Hayward here, who pit behind him. Man, that's going to be pretty easily ate up, I believe, by them tires in 16 laps.
Well, yeah, you've got to figure that 2 seconds a lap, that's got to be 4 laps that Hunter Hayward is going to be making that pass on Trevor Massetti. GT on pit road now. We'll have to see where Trevor and Hunter cycle out in relation to GT. Casey Coon's going to be moving up to take the lead at the moment. Still got a number of guys stayed out. Well, David Hall hitting pit road this time by. Looks like the 28 J.R. Miller now going to be amongst the last 3 guys to have stayed out on track. Casey Coons, Andrew Little, and J.R. Miller, the last 3.
GT accelerating off the exit of pit road here. Believe he should come out directly. He could come out directly behind Hunter Hayward, I believe. We'll have to see as he'll exit out of 2. Hayward's coming out 2 also. Here it is. This is going to be the battle. I think Irizarry should have position. Here comes Hayward with the head of steam, though. Can Irizarry get them tires fired up and take off? Because right now, Hayward going to have a little bit more heat in them tires and maybe a little more grip.
Yeah, it affords him the opportunity to be a little bit more aggressive, but still the gap is pretty much stabilized. And also the gap up to Trevor Massetti, 6 seconds now. Pulled out a lot farther than I initially thought he was going to. Not taking tires, gained a lot more time on track, just that little bit extra time he did not have to spend on pit road. But it's gonna be all for naught, I think. Still got a good shot at a decent top 3 for the 88. Have to look back and see exactly how far. It looks like Zach Schrittenthal and Travis Everett are 33 seconds behind the lead at the moment, being a little under 10 seconds behind GT and Hunter behind himself. So he may still have enough opportunity here to stay in that top 3 finishing position.
Well, it looks like leader Casey Coons is hitting pit road this time, so he will be pitting. So did Andrew Little. Looks like Junior Miller is going to stay out. He'll be the last car, I believe, that has yet to pit, and he will only have Trevor Massetti, I believe, about 3 seconds back, and Massetti closing in pretty quickly, even with the older tires. But I tell you what, GT is the one you got to watch. 51.45 last time by, compared to Trevor Massetti's 54.128. So that is almost 3 seconds a lap quicker. He should be there within 2 laps.
It was a really good try for Trevor Massetti. It was working out really well. Just sometimes the tires bite you. You try to figure out what's going to be the optimal way to take your tires, and things just kind of fall apart, it seems, with the tire limits. Adds a whole element of strategy, but also a whole element of frustration for sure. Unfortunately, it looks like another one going to slip away for Trevor Massetti here, but still a very strong run. Can't complain too much about that at all.
Yeah, it's not going to be a race for the move, like you said, but it still should bring home a good finish for that 88 if this thing stays green. Just with the gap that he has built overall in this race and the speed he's had. But here you can see directly behind him now the lap car Kevin Dowd, but also here comes the 14 GTers already looking back from our leader, Junior Miller's back bumper. Now back to the back bumper, Trevor Massetti in the second spot. Here comes Irizarry.
It's going to be pretty easy to get underneath and make that pass. Pretty much only needed the short chute to make it done there. Now Miller ahead of him. Surprise, still not hitting pit road here. Maybe hoping for a caution for the 28, but running out of time to get that caution. Got 10 laps to go.
Yeah, he's gonna need a lot there. It's most likely about 5 more laps at most for that 28. There you see the 48. He's got to the 88 now. Also, he'll get to the inside down the back straightaway and should be able to make that pass for second. And yes, he does. You see Travis Everett just exiting through there in the background. He'll be trying to run his way up and see if he can catch up to that 88.
Guys like Travis Everett, Zach Schrittenthal, Brock Potter, Andrew Little, they're hoping for a caution. They need this gap to get cut down because they're not going to make it up under green here. Getting word now that J.R. Miller going to be coming down pit road this time by. It's looking like about 6 seconds or so separating 5th place, now 4th place Travis Everett from that of our leader. Excuse me, probably more close to 9 seconds to that of our leader, GT. Looks like he's running a little bit quicker, but it's just only about 2/10 or so. Just not quite enough time to be able to make up that gap to current pace.
Yeah, GT is just set and sail. I mean, set on pole here tonight. I mean, this guy is looking to do something really big here. Win the regular season championship with the races to go here. And also with teammate Curtis Preston, he doesn't want to see his teammate, get in trouble and get knocked out of a race. But at the same time, 10-point gap to Curtis Preston. Now with Curtis Preston out of this race in that 30th position, huge gap being gained. And also Preston not getting any stage points. So, I mean, Curtis Preston is going to have a terrible point standing at 29. So if he loses pretty much any threat, Preston in these last 2 races almost. Now he's just got to worry about teammate Travis Everett, who's also putting points on tonight. So right now, Irizarry is coming out here with a big smile on his face as he is out here putting on a clinic tonight at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And I tell you what, next week we head to Michigan. He's my pick for next week, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, GT seems to really like Michigan for sure, and also saying he really liked Indy, and he's showing that it just, for some drivers, Indy clicks. There's just something about it that fits their driving style, and it's absolutely apparent with the 14 and GT here. And to your point about the not wanting your teammates to really do bad, from experience, you don't want your teammates to do bad, but you're never going to complain when your biggest competition has problems.
Oh, that's for sure. Your competition is the big thing. I guess the big name of the game there. They are your teammates, but at the end of the day, they are still your competition out here on the racetrack. That is the interesting thing that's different from stick and ball sports. A teammate there, you're working with that guy to win each and every day. Your teammate is not technically your teammate. It's just kind of like your associate. As your team, I guess you could say, is the guys who work on your car, your crew chief, because you're all working together. But, man, teammate racing is always a delicate subject and a delicate topic. But I tell you what, you always get better by having good teammates to push you each and every week, especially at that practice time.
Yeah, teammates in motorsports, you share information, but you don't share wins.
That's for sure. Sometimes you wish you could. But I tell you what, man, GT, though, again, just lose the season. Got that first win at Pocono 2 weeks ago. I mean, that thing's been around the corner forever. That was tough. Had the surgery after that race. Then comes back next week. And, I mean, the dude can barely even, speak. He's in so much pain. And he goes out there and finishes in the top 3. I mean, that just shows the excellence of him. Now he's out here in Indianapolis the next week putting on a clinic. Then we head off to one of his favorite tracks in Michigan. I mean, he could go to Pocono, Indianapolis, and Michigan and win all 3 of those races. And if he does that, that's super impressive because, that's something you see almost in real life cup racing. You see drivers who excelled at Pocono usually that year, and at Indianapolis, they usually carry that speed to the Michigan International Speedway. So I'm interested to see if that's something we see transition here in iRacing also.
Well, it's looking like it. Talked to some drivers during the ARCA race saying that it was just a lot like Pocono running out here at Indy. and alluding to turn 2 at Pocono, which is based on the corners here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So it absolutely, without a doubt, transfers. Even though it feels different going through turn 2 at Pocono than it does going through the corners here at Indy, the banking is so similar. Just the approach you have to take to it is so similar that, you know, guys that are really good there just seem to shine at Indianapolis as well. And it's just a feel for tracks like that that, you know, some guys have, and GT making the most of it out here still, just putting down some pretty quick laps. A little bit quicker last time by than second place Hunter Hayward, able to pull out a 2.5 second gap now to second place Hunter Hayward. Travis Everett sitting in third place now, 9.2 seconds back, running slower, a couple tenths slower than GT. GT absolutely hoping that there is not a yellow flag to be seen.
Oh, he does not. I mean, he said you can pretty much get rid of the color yellow at this point. He wouldn't care because he definitely doesn't want to be seeing that anywhere on this racetrack at any moment. With 5 to go, set and sail still out front, and just what a performance from him here tonight at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And thinking about it here too, Brandon, I don't know if he wants me to pick him too much for next week in Michigan, because I picked his teammate tonight and was looking good, but then unfortunate little bit of contact between him and the 38 James Catrone, and that all went up in smoke. And hopefully I'm not jinxing GT for next week.
Well, it's normally how it goes. It always looks good until it doesn't. And again, talking about the yellow flags, I'm sure GT hoping somebody goes up in the flag stand and mugs Barney the flag guy, because if somebody steals the flags, he can't possibly wave them. But hopefully, you know, the broadcast curse isn't going to bite GT for next week. It looks like it, crossing my fingers, it's not bit him so far tonight. Been a really solid run, great strategy for him so far, but also a lot of guys. Zach Schirtendahl still up there in the 5th position, but Brock and Nolan Potter sitting 6th and 7th place right now. Great strategy call for them to break inside the top 10 here, just outside the top 5, but a great night for both of them.
Yeah, man, I think they played the strategy. For a two-stopper, they played the optimal strategy. I was saying earlier in the race when we were in that stage, if you got the 2 sets of tires and you're not going to be doing the one-stop, you need to get the most usage out of them. And running, 10 to 15 lap runs is not getting the most out of your tires. You need to do that full 20 laps, especially when you have a limited fuel load like these guys have. So I think they hit the strategy right on top of what they needed to do. And you can see right here, 6th and 7th right now. Yeah, they got pressure with Andrew Little and Matthew Rush behind. But man, if they're coming out here with solid top 10 finishes here tonight with a good strategy, what a call from them. Also thinking back to Pocono, Brandon. You said Pocono has the corners. Turn 2 is based off of Indy. Our turn 3 there was based off the Milwaukee Mile. We were there last week. Are we going to be in Trenton, New Jersey next week?
I hope not. That track's a little weird looking, but if we were, these guys might need to be worried about that 14 up there, because it seems like he has taken absolutely every single little bit of information Pocono's given him and putting it to good use. That was actually a good point that I completely missed out on, Zach.
I just thought of that. I was like, man, we pretty much went to every track that Pocono has simulated. So are we going to go to Trenton, New Jersey? Unfortunately, we don't have that here on iRacing. We don't have the curve back, or the turn back straightaway that they have at Trenton, New Jersey, which is definitely very interesting. But man, GT Irizarry, it doesn't matter to him what track it is here tonight. He comes off of turn 4, and he's going to see the Sheffield Graphics white flag in the air. One final time here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 2.5 miles, 4 turns of historic proportion here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. GT Irizarry looking to bring home that second win here at the historic grounds of the Brickyard.
It's taken him a majority of the season, but getting that second win in 3 weeks, not going to complain about that. Deciding a good point in the season here to flick that switch to start putting it all together for GT. Consistency has been his name, and now finally getting those wins to go along with it. Definitely got to feel good.
One final time, down to 3. Great corner for him. He even snaked the back straightaway for the invisible car behind him. Now he goes into 4. And I tell you what a drive from this man off of surgery 2 weeks ago. He's going to bring home his second win of the season here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. GT Irizarry is your Sheffield Graphics race winner here tonight at the RSR Cup Series for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Second's going to go to Hunter Hayward, and third will go to teammate Travis Everett from Slide Drive Racing. The 1-3 there from that team. Great stuff throughout the field. Trevor Massetti going to hold on to that 4th spot. And then 5th is going to be Zach Strittenthal for his first top 5 of the season. Congrats to him.
Yeah, the Potters coming across 6th and 7th. Brock and Nolan. Andrew Little 8th. Matthew Rush 9th. Jeff Carson holding on to that top 10 finishing position.
What a finishing order there for that top 10, Brandon. Man, what a night here at the RSR Cup Series. Thank you, everybody, for always tuning in here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We love you out there. And I tell you what, GT's got some special burnouts to do and some special celebrating here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This guy got to be ecstatic after getting this second win here, man. I tell you what. He's going to bring it here on the front straightaway, and he's going to celebrate and show his excitement for winning here at the Brickyard. Oh, even do a little bit of a drive-by smooch to Hunter Hayward for getting second. You're gonna see that expertise here and nice slow motion 1080p action here on YouTube live on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Here you're gonna see GT slide on by in this 14 as he celebrates tonight's victory at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We'll be back here in a few moments, everybody, as we get our top 3 drivers up here, and we'll see what their thoughts are after tonight's fantastic race. All right, we're back here, everybody. We got our top 3 drivers here tonight from Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the RSR Cup Series. First up is Travis Everett in the 59, able to bring home a slide job 1-3. Let's hear his thoughts are on bringing home another podium finish in the 59. Hey, Travis, it's Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. We got you.
Hey, man, well, another great race out here for you tonight. Coming from that 14th starting position, driving up through the field early in that first stage, man. I tell you what, you were looking really, really strong out there tonight, especially on them long runs. How was the racing out there? And, man, that strategy, definitely a lot of different strategies being played. Kind of let us know how, your strategy worked out.
Yeah, I thought the racing was pretty good. I actually like this track. I know a lot of people don't really care for it, but I like to have that qualifying run and the first pit stop back. Definitely left a lot on the table out there in qualifying. And first pit stop, I kind of told GT what my plan was there, and I forgot to uncheck the tires, and he didn't, so he had that extra set, and I believe I could have been right there with him and Hunter at the end there if I would have just been a little bit smarter about doing that early on.
Yeah, that was actually the next thing I was going to go to is, your teammate elected not to take tires there on that stop. So, yeah, just unfortunately leaving it check there. And I know how that feels, man. Sometimes it's easy to, have a quick lapse like that when we're driving these race cars and trying to be our crew chief at the same time, man. So, I tell you what, though, the 59 looked really good out there tonight. You're like you said, I think you'd have been right there with GT because your pace on that first run just looked so strong. I mean, how did you make the tires last so good? Because it seemed like, personally, from looking at it there at the end, I mean, you were clicking off at the end of that first stage the fastest time almost each and every time by.
Main thing was just not overdriving the corners. It's real easy to drive it in too deep or drive it off too hard here. And I think I saw quite a couple people definitely drive it off too hard and catch the wall there out of 2 and 4. Trevor, he was real strong that first run there until he got into it. I think he's been a contender also.
Yeah, definitely a lot of competition up front, man. It was a blast to call up here in the booth. And like you said there, people are going to stop calling this track boring because, man, I tell you what, you guys put on one heck of a show, and it was fun for you drivers out there. I know it was just from watching, man. But before we let you go, Travis, before we head off next week to the Michigan International Speedway, anybody want to send a shout out to, buddy?
Yeah, just want to thank you and Brandon and Robert, all y'all over at Freaky Fans for the job y'all do, and Ryan, everybody at Evolution, Sheffield Graphics. Thinking about Ryan and his family, everything he's got going on there, praying for his son. Definitely got a tough road ahead of him. We're all thinking about him. All my teammates over at Slide Job Racing, I know Curtis had a tough break tonight. I think he's been right over to everybody also. Congratulations to Hunter on a great run and teammate GT on the win there. Looking forward to next week. Y'all have a good night.
You too, Travis, buddy. You have a great night, and we'll catch you next week, man. All right, everybody. That was your third place man, Travis Everett. What a good run for him again. Just like you said, didn't uncheck the tires. I really think he would have been right up there, Brandon. Maybe that bad luck of you picking him slid off onto him. So,
Yeah,
well,
definitely sounds like something I'd have done.
well, it didn't do as bad as mine to Curtis Press's teammate. So, sorry, Curtis, again. I'm very sorry. I won't pick you next time. So, we'll move on to our second place interview now with Hunter Hayward. Another solid run for this young man, the 48. See what he can do building up into these playoffs. Hey, Hunter Hayward, it's Zach Hall up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do, and this time it's working.
Well, good thing it is working this time, buddy. That's actually, we can ask you about that after this. I'll get into Milwaukee Mile because, man, what a dominant race you had last week after getting that win. But Hunter, what a great run again here tonight at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, man. Strategies were all over the place with different guys taking tires at certain different points. How do you feel like your strategy played out, and how was the race out there for you tonight?
And my strategy was, I guess, pretty interesting and a little different than everybody else's, but I was used to the strategy of just pitting under all stages and then kind of splitting the last stage in half and taking tires. But the fuel kind of got mixed up a little bit, made the stages shorter or the fuel was shorter than we were supposed to go on the stage, so we had to pit under green on the stage, which was confusing. So me taking tires out of that first stage then made me have to not take tires in that second stage, or the start of the third stage. So it was definitely interesting. I'm glad it worked out. I mean, I got in the wall a tiny bit right before I pitted in the middle of that third stage, but overall, I mean, we had a great car. Pretty much kept it clean all day. I stayed out of trouble, and we were up front all day. I had nothing for GT, so congratulations to him. But I'm really satisfied, especially for a track I'm not very good at.
Yeah, man, definitely a tough track out there tonight, and the competition was tough. Not only that, I mean, the whole top 10 there was just on top of each other all night, not letting anybody breathe through any positions, But that's one thing I want to ask you about, Hunter's strategy heading off into the playoffs. We've kind of seen the evolution of strategy up here in the booth throughout the season. I mean, it's kind of interesting to watch because with the way tire sets play and the way fuel loads play, some guys are electing to save those tires in the early stages to have them later in the race, just in case you get those certain cautions. I mean, we see Kevin Sabliel, Jeff Carson, both, teammates of yours at Zab Motorsports do that same strategy to get wins this season. Heading off into playoffs, is that something maybe you think you could up your game on, or is that something you think you just need to, keep figuring out new little ways, because I feel like strategy a lot of times with how close the racing is out here is the key to these victories.
Strategy will win anybody a race, and that's for sure. I mean, everybody has something to learn on a different strategy and in getting better at it. I mean, I'm not no Chad Knaus, so it's good to learn from everybody else's strategies to then apply it the next race and see how it goes. So, especially going into the playoffs, like you said, where winning is so crucial and top spots are so crucial. Every single spot matters in the playoffs. So, I've definitely learned a lot going into this league, especially with stage racing. So, yeah, I mean, strategies are very big and are very important, I should say. And yeah, I've learned a lot from the time I've joined the Cup Series.
Yeah, definitely has shown, Hunter. Definitely a strategy evolving each week from each of these drivers out here, and each week a new one is showing the way to go. So definitely got to keep up to date on that for you drivers out there, man. But tell you what, after a second place finish here and a win last week in Milwaukee, which you can tell us how good that felt too. But heading off into Michigan next week, and then Texas before we head off into playoffs. What's kind of the goal in these last two races, and especially with that win in Milwaukee that helps you get that second in that win column?
Oh yeah, no, it feels really good. It gives me a little bit of a cushion going into the playoffs. Michigan, I really feel like that one's anybody's race. It's kind of Daytona with this package, but I myself am pretty good at Michigan. I like that place. It's a really nice track. Texas, really like that place as well. Been there many times, know a lot about it. So I like both of the tracks. I'm really confident going in the next couple of weeks. Maybe not a win, but I know we can get really good finishes the next couple of weeks going in the playoffs and maybe get ourselves even more of a cushion.
Yeah, it would be nice to see, buddy. I tell you what, 2 wins so far on the season. It's been a good one up to this point through your first 11 starts. Going to be start number 12 next week at Michigan, so we'll see how that all plays out. But before we let you go, Hunter, anybody wants to shout out to, buddy?
Many shout outs tonight. I'd like to thank all my teammates at Zap Motorsports. I know a lot of them wrecked out today, which is sad. And I know we can rebound next week and get a real good finish, especially at Michigan. Everybody else, people who help working, making my paints every single weekend. Dave Bush, Steven Stimpy, and all of them out there. You guys, Zach, Colley, everyone out there at Category 5e Sports. My sponsor, PlanBSales.com. If you're looking for NASCAR diecast or any other racing diecast for motorsports, or even apparel of your favorite driver, go make sure to check them out and use code HH48 at checkout to get free shipping on orders of $20 and over. Also, I'm gonna give 2 shout outs to drivers, or one driver here and somebody else special. I'd like to give a quick shout out, since I couldn't last week, to GT Irizarry, man. I've learned so much from that guy. I know he's a veteran. I have so much respect for that man. I heard he got surgery and joined the Milwaukee Mile Race and was still out there battling for the lead with me. That man just goes out every single week and loves to race, and he does it amazing. I've learned so much from him, and my respect for him just goes to the roof. So I can't wait to learn more and more from him every single week, and even in the playoffs to compete with him. I'd also like to give a quick shout out to the league owner, Ryan Uzel, his son. I'm so glad he's all right, especially from what happened to him. I'm praying for him and his family. Knowing Ryan, I know his son is also a great kid, and I am so glad that his son is okay from that wreck, especially from the way he was talking about it. And I'm just there was somebody there just guiding him, especially that truck driver who also saved his life. So praying for Ryan and his family, and Creed for a quick recovery. So yeah.
I'll tell you what, buddy. Great shout outs there, man. We all echo that here, and wish for the best recovery for Creed and the Ezel family. It's definitely a tough time for them guys, but they're going to make it through it. And the power of love will get us through everything here at this wonderful league here at the Evolution Race League, man. So congrats tonight here on Second, Hunter. We'll catch you next week at Michigan, buddy.
All right. Thank you, brother. You have a good night.
You too, buddy. All right, everybody. That was Hunter Hayward, your second place man. But now we move on to our 2-time winner this season, GT Irizarry. This man's going to be ecstatic here winning at the Brickyard. GT and Zach up in the booth, man. You got a copy.
Yeah, you know I do. What's up, brother?
Hey, man, great to hear from you. Tell you what, another great performance out here tonight, man. After winning at Pocono 2 weeks, had the surgery, came back last week, competed for another win at the Milwaukee Mile. Now you come out here to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and you get the victory. I have my colleague here, Brandon, want to make sure I ask you this, man. Are you going to feel well enough to kiss them bricks?
Yeah. You know, if this would have been a real deal, surely, but I think my neighbors I ran out my front yard and kissed the street out there. So we'll just keep that between ourselves. But man, this damn Mustang week number 14 was on rails, man. I mean, I told you in the interview before. I mean, I've always liked Indy. It's a fun track. You know, you can kind of there's a lot of setting people up for the passes, and I mean, I've always enjoyed the track. It sucks that we lost one of our team cars there earlier in the run. I think he would have been definitely up there in the top of the runnings, but it's one of those things where you get caught up in the back due to an error, and it's just a chance that you take, and that's what happened with them. And heck, we were almost in the same boat. I mean, we were the 59 and I were supposed to be on the same pitch strategy on the first thing, but somebody forgot to uncheck their tires. So here we were out there, you know, sitting duck on old tires, but it worked out, man.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, you did the best with that for sure. I mean, you know, on the mold tires, having to drop through the field there and do it very safely too. At that, you know, letting each of the drivers, you know, on the new tires really have the right of way to go by there and not, you know, lose too much ground at the same time. So, man, I tell you what, that was a great job by you, and then you were able to drive that thing back on through and get the victory here tonight. Now that's your second win of the season, and also after winning Pocono. You know, Pocono, both those being 2.5 mile, you know, tracks here in Indianapolis. You know, then we head off to Michigan next week. I know Michigan's one of your best tracks, but also, you know, Michigan, Indianapolis, Pocono kind of all sets up, you know, similar style racing. We see that in the real life Cup series. Most cars that go there are fast. You feel like you go to next week? How are you going to feel about Michigan, man?
I love Michigan. Michigan is a very fun track to race against good guys like what we've got here in this league. I mean, you could just, I mean, heck, you're going to be white knuckle for a good while there. The only problem with me in Michigan is, for whatever reason, sometimes Michigan doesn't really like me, and it tends to slap me with its wall. Once you collect the wall over there, I mean, you're pretty well done. That the speed that those cars, you know, that these cars carry down the straightaways is just huge. You know, so, but you know, I'm excited, man. Hell, I'm thrilled to death to be here and, you know, talking to you boys in Victory Lane again. You know, for the longest part of the season, we were just wondering if, you know, I guess it really wasn't an if, it was when it was coming. You know, and we finally got the W, and now here we are on W number 2, Mustang Week on board. Yeah, I can't ask for anything better than that.
Yeah, definitely, man. I tell you what, too, you got 2 races left. You can still go out there and get the most wins of the season. That's still on the table with Ryan Bean sitting there with 3. 2 good tracks, too, coming up for you. Like you say, you love Michigan. I'm sure Texas will be another good one for you. Um, you know, heading off into those final 2 races, you know, you got Curtis Preston, too. You know, your teammate, like you said, had the unfortunate ending to his night after really being strong there in stage 1 after that small mistake on pit road that put him back there. Man, he was 10 points behind you here tonight, didn't get any stage points, finished 30th, so that gives you a good sizable gap there, especially back to teammate Travis Everett, who you gained points again here on tonight. Man, I know you came back from the surgery with a lot of guys talking about, man, we might be able to get the regular season championship from you, and you came back with a lot of strength there last week in Milwaukee. You know, 2 good races left. You know, is the goal maybe to get those bonus points stacked up with that 4 wins to have a good start in the playoffs? Or do you feel like just getting that regular season championship is really what you're going for?
We're you know, pitch strategy is going to be a little bit different, you know, because that was part of the gamble that we did here tonight. Was, you know, we're locked in, so it's like, you know, what the heck, if we're going to try, let's see what happens. We knew we weren't going to go a lap down, you know, but it is, like I said, the ball bounced like it was supposed to. I mean, I think you might see something similar to that at Michigan next week. I mean, you boys race. I mean, you know how it is, man. I mean, you go in there with one thing on your mind, and then all of a sudden you'll get a yellow in the middle and just throws it all out door. And then you're like, now what do we do? And you just go with it, you know. But again, we're confident we're going in there. Those are both actually, Texas is a fun track, and we like that too. That's a good tire saving track out there. But Here's the problem though. Last season, I think we were leading the points going into the chase, and we ended up finishing third. So I mean, just because you're gaining all these points now and you're gonna be leading, and that don't mean nothing until that last race. That last race is what's going to count. And then right now, our goal is to make sure that we make it in, to be one of the top 4 in that last race.
But I tell you what, very wise words from you, my friend. Very wise words. It's not gonna be over to the very end, and you gotta have everything you got to that very end for sure, man. So, tell you what, it's looking good for you now, man. If you can keep this up, it's gonna be a great playoffs for you, dude. I can't explain how excited we are for you to get back into victory lane here again tonight in Indianapolis. So, congrats on that. But before we let you go, man, anybody want to send a special shout out to?
I do, but first I got to say this. It was kind of humorous. Probably about 3/4 of the way through that race, Trevor made a comment to me over open chat about, man, there sure are a lot of Chevys up here. So yeah, I think there's a
That hurt
Ford
my
in victory
feelings,
lane.
man. Come on.
I'm sorry, brother. I think there's a Ford in victory lane. So, but Trevor handed it to us last night in the trucks, man. I think he was pulling over and getting hot dogs and stuff, and still stayed, 10 seconds plus ahead of us. I mean, he killed us last night, dude. But congrats to his truck win. But all kidding aside, now in all seriousness, just want to let Ryan, you're in our thoughts, brother. Prayers from all of us over here for you and your family. And anybody tells you, if you ever need anything, we're all here for you. But we appreciate the league that you put up here for us. We enjoy it. It's not going to be the same without you out here racing it, as well. So we're keeping you in our thoughts. I believe in the old iRacing prayer, and your buddies out here. It certainly worked for me. So that's the biggest thing right there. Definitely want to thank Mustang Week for coming on board with the car. Again, September 6th through the 12th. It's all Mustangs. I mean, you can't. I mean, some people would say it's a tow truck heaven out there. So I got to thank them. Got to thank ButtKicker for coming on board with us. You boys up in the booth, or Nissan, and Michael Sheffield and Sheffield Graphics, man. I appreciate you guys coming on. You guys put on a great show for us, and I hope we do likewise for you boys as well. So appreciate it a lot.
Well, I tell you what, man, you kept us on the edge of our seats all night, each and every week. It's a blast. We'll see you next week in Michigan, man. And can't wait for that, buddy. You have a great night.
You too, guys. Thank you, man.
All right, guys. That was GT your Sheffield Graphics race winner here tonight from the RSR Cup Series. And, man, I'll tell you could learn things from that guy just listening to his interviews. He's so good about explaining how it works out, racing, how it is. I mean, he's exactly right. You get in these races, you usually have a plan. I know I do when I get in races. And I'll tell you what, when you get hit in the mouth, you usually don't have a plan then. It kind of all changes into an audible, and then you kind of got to hit and move from there. So it's a very interesting deal we play here with the iRacing, and with the racing deal, it's really what makes iRacing.com so beautiful. So make sure you go check that out, because it's just so realistic with the racing and the passion that these drivers out here have on the track. But I tell you what I'm passionate about is these race results here. As you can see, GT Irizarry able to bring home that race win here tonight, brought to you by Sheffield Graphics. Second's going to go to Hunter Hayward in the 48. Third's going to be Travis Everett. Fourth's going to be Trevor Massetti. Fifth's going to be Zach Schrittenthal. Sixth place is going to go to Brock Potter. Seventh is going to be Nolan Potter. Yes, the seventh is going to be Nolan Potter. Eighth is going to be Andrew Little. Ninth is going to be Matthew Rush. Rounding out your top 10 is going to be Jeff Carson. 11th is going to go to Anthony Yunez. 12th is going to be Stephen Baldwin. 13th, Harold Watkins. 14th is going to be David Hall. 15th is going to be Junior Miller. 16th is going to be Casey Kuntz. 17th is going to be Tony Ludy. 18th, Kevin Dowd. 19th, Michael Martino. 20th is going to be Dustin Stallings. 21st is going to be the 6-0 Rusty Modesty. 22nd, Marc-Andre Thibodeau. 23rd is Kevin Ruff. 24th is James Catrone. 25th is Ryan Bean. 26th is going to be Adam Buzzio. 27th, Kevin Zabladil. 28th, Chad Biesinger. 29th, Bob Fitzpatrick. 30th is going to be Nathan Kimmel in the 52. 31st is going to be Curtis Preston. And not rounding out your field. 32nd is going to be Kevin Sibilia. Rounding out your field is going to be Harold Rothery in the 33rd spot. As that is your race results here tonight from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway with the RSR Cup Series. What a night it has been here. Brandon, I mean, the race here in Indianapolis I don't even think it could have been better, man. It did everything I thought was going to be a tire saving. And, we talk about passing being hard here, but we've seen plenty of passing. I'm completely satisfied as a race fan here tonight.
I think the only thing that could have made this race any better is stuff that I can't say on the broadcast. So, these guys, man, put on an absolute killer race here tonight. Great strategy. Absolutely love to see races with a bunch of strategy mixed in, and it's was racing to a T. Normally, Indy is a track that like we talked about before, is sometimes you just kind of feel it's a little bit boring. But when strategy's mixed in there, a lot of fun to call and watch. And hope everybody enjoyed it as well. Can't wait to get on to Michigan and see these guys high speed, high banked racetrack. See who can come out on top over there as the playoffs are getting closer.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Playoffs are edging closer and closer each week, Brandon. And we'll head off to Michigan in the Irish Hills next week. I cannot wait for that. We're in the background. Man, I'll tell you what, that's where we just had some like little bit of a manufacturer drama there with GT and Trevor talking about Chevrolet and Ford there. That's going to be where you want to win. That's in the backyard of the manufacturers. So if you want to go out there and make a point about what manufacturer you want to rep, go out there and get a win at Michigan. That would be critical. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in here tonight. It's been a fantastic broadcast up here. Just one of the nights we would definitely remember for a long time here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Just a historic place, and just great drivers out here nonetheless. I mean, the RSR Cup Series each and every week puts on a show, and we just gotta applaud these drivers for coming out here each and every week and doing that for us. Also, another special shout I want to get out to is to Ryan Ezell and the Ezell family. We wish the best for your son Creed, and speedy recovery, and we're all praying for your family. And like GT said, it's a family here at the RSR Cup Series and the Evolution Racing League. I mean, this is a great group of guys, and if you need anything, definitely let us know out there, and we would be more than grateful to help out. So prayers to the Ezell family, and thank you to all the fans out there tuned in. It's been a fantastic night. Let's send it up to Robert Moore Jr., our producer, so we can close out tonight's great night.
All right. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. I second what Zach said. Not going to dwell on it, but Ryan, if you go back and watch this, or you're watching it right now, don't forget, sir, that we are here for you and your family, and so is the iRacing community 9 out of 10 too. So if you do need anything, don't hesitate to contact us or anybody here at the league, and I'm sure that we can set something up or give you a helping hand like you help everybody else out there. But with that being said, man, what a show here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway with these guys here in the Cup Series, man. And week in and week out, they put on a great show. And like Zach said, next week we head to Michigan, one of my favorite tracks. Never got a win there, but I love racing there. You're going to see a lot of knuckle-to-knuckle racing, side-by-side racing, side drafting, bumping, pushing, going through the turns at 180, 190 miles per hour, give or take on that speed there. But, man, it's going to be a great show. So make sure that you like us on YouTube, and also like this video, and subscribe here on YouTube. Helps the league out and helps us out too, to try to get to 1K by the end of the year. We do much appreciate it. But with that being said, we will catch everybody tomorrow night at 8:30 with Underdog Racing League as they take on Daytona International Speedway, round number 2 of their playoffs, as they started their playoffs now. So we missed the Dover race. We'll get everybody caught up with that, and we head off to Daytona to see what happens there with the Underdog Racing League and the Truck Series. But until then, we want to say God bless everybody. We love you all. Peace out.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.